sideline Tom Flores, the head coach of the Los Angeles Raiders. The Raiders won the toss. Sammy Seal and Fulton Walker are back to return the kick of Morton Anderson. Week 6 of the 1985 season. The Saints 3-2. Never in their 19-year history as a franchise have they won 4 in a row. Los Angeles was defeated here by the 49ers a couple of weeks back, 3 weeks back. Went on the road and defeated New England, and then won last week here against Kansas City. Bobbled at the goal line by Fulton Walker. And he is caught and dropped as he manages to counterpunch it only out to the 12-yard line, and Frank Watlet is down with Joe Colbron to make the tackle. The Raiders will open with Mark Wilson at quarterback, Frank Hawkins and Marcus Allen in the backfield. The rookie Jesse Hester joins Dokie Williams at the wide receiver spot. And they've shifted the offensive line a bit because of an injury to Mickey Marvin. Shelby Jordan opens at left tackle. Charlie Hanna, Don Mosbar the center. Bruce Davis moves to right guard. Henry Lawrence and the tight end Todd Christensen. Wilson for the season, 52%, and he is playing on a slightly sprained ankle. Marcus Allen gets the handoff and a quick 2 yards. Bruce Clark, number 75, makes the tackle. 3-4 New Orleans defense has Clark, Tony Elliott, and Jim Wilkes up front. And they've lost a couple of linebackers in the last month. Ricky Jackson, Glenn Red, Alvin Toles, and Whitney Paul are there. Jim Kovach on injured reserve, and Dennis Winston has retired. And also Scott Pellure not starting today because of a hamstring. Waymer, Poe, Hogan, Watlet in the defensive secondary. Wilson will throw on second down, or try to. That is the 17th time this season that Mark Wilson has been sacked. And Bruce Clark got him with help from Jim Wilkes.
The thing that's happened in the last 3 weeks for the Saints that have made them so successful as a defensive football team has been the pressure generated by their down linemen. This time Clark beats Lawrence, comes over the left side, and to him and makes the sack.
Third down, 14. The Raiders operate from their own 9-yard line. Just underway, no score. Wilson with time, incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Intended for the tight end Todd Christensen, but behind him. And Wilson hears the boos. I guess Los Angeles has a reputation for booing quarterbacks with about as much fervor as anybody.
The thing they're booing probably more than anything else, Vern, is that this city is dissatisfied. They believe that the Raiders need to open up their offense, become a more attractive and modern-day offense. I don't think it's...
And that is not one of the better ones. New Orleans is going to come out of this with terrific field position at the 46-yard line of Los Angeles, as it was a semi-shank from Ray Guy. 37-yard punt with a hang time of only 3.9 seconds. And the Saints, under Bum Phillips, start in great shape. They will open up with Dave Wilson at quarterback. Wayne Wilson will get the start in front of Earl Campbell, who played only 1 down last week. Hokie Gaijan back after a week out. LaFari, Perot, Hilgenberg, Williams, Brock, and Brenner. The offensive line is a patchwork offensive line which has been playing well. 1st and 10 from the I. And John Tice, the second tight end, goes in motion. Or it is Earl Campbell in the backfield. That's an interesting little psychological ploy because Wayne Wilson played most of last week and was introduced to the crowd here as a starter.
Well, in talking to Bum Phillips yesterday, he said that we're going to start Earl. We're going to play Earl. No reason, nothing down on Wilson. We're just going to play Earl.
Howie Long, Bill Pickell, and Lyle Alzado. The front 3, Van Pelt, Millen, McKenzie, and Martin, the linebackers. Hayes, Haynes, Davis, and McElroy, the defensive secondary. 2nd down and 9. And again, it's John Tice in motion. Wilson hands it off to Gaijan, who tests right tackle, spins out of 1 hit, and still picks up only a couple of yards as Rod Martin, number 53, made the tackle.
That's the thing they like about Gaijan. That time he picks up 3 yards, Vern, but the thing, he was hit once, hit twice, hit 3 times, spinning, driving. The man has a great desire and a will to get things done on the football field. Even though it was for short yardage, he gave you great effort to get there.
Brings up a 3rd down and 6. No score. And we've got 12:27 to go first quarter. 3 wide receiver set this time. Eugene Goodlow, of course, out of the game. Kenny Duckett has been activated. Wilson with protection. Almost intercepted as his receiver was held up trying to make the cut toward the post.
Mike Davis that time came inside and had a perfect shot for the football. Hit him right square in his chest. There's number 36. And just flat drops the ball. Now this actually is good pass protection. A lot of time to throw the football. As you can see, Groth has no room to run. They did a good job of holding him up, and then Wilson threw the football, and it should have been intercepted.
So the field position goes for naught, and Brian Hansen is on the punt to Fulton Walker, who is tops in the NFL. 12:10 to go first quarter. Hansen goes for the left corner. Nice and high. And superbly placed. It is out of bounds at the 4-yard line. That's a 38-yard kick with a hang time of 4.2. Orleans Saints has been their improved defense, particularly their passing defense. They've gone from 361-yard yield in the first 2 games to 217 per game in the last 3. That is not enough to move them out of the next to the bottom spot, but it's getting there.
Their defense is putting so much pressure on their quarterbacks now, Vern, and that's the reason for that.
Opened with big losses to Kansas City and Denver, then came back and beat Tampa Bay, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. Wilson from the end zone. Lobs it out, caught by Trey Junkin, 3rd-year man from Terry Bradshaw's alma mater,
That's
Louisiana
right.
Tech.
Another great athlete from Louisiana Tech. You hit it right on the button then, Vern.
Tech won last night, I guess, over McNeese. That's his first catch.
Oh, that's just the first of many. This guy, I was talking to Al Davis before the game, and he really likes Trey Junkin. He even said, I don't know what those other people gave up for him, but I like him.
2nd down and 5. No score in the game. 11:30 to go first quarter. And off to the second man through. And Marcus Allen squirts out.
Raider offense, we tend to forget that this is really a football team very similar to the Steeler team, in which they were a fullback run football team. They used their fullback, and then here comes Marcus Allen. He kind of messed that whole program up and forced them to go to the eye.
I don't think they minded too much.
Not a whole lot.
1st and 10. Allen again coming left with Hawkins in front, but there's no room to run this time. And Allen is dropped after a gain of 6 feet by Whitney Paul, number 51, who's getting a little gray in the whiskers.
You can see the change in the defensive line and the linebackers. Activity has picked up so much that time. The linemen coming out trying to hook the defensive ends, Clark and Wilkes, but they neither one could stretch it out wide. And Whitney Paul was able to come back and make the stop.
10-year man who is celebrating his alma mater's 4th victory of the season yesterday as Colorado has gone to 4-1. 2nd down and 8. No score. 10:15 to go first quarter. And Wilson throws from the split backfield. No, he will not. 2nd sack of the game. And this time it's Bruce Clark once again as tempers flare and flags fly.
Wilson's down.
Freddie Wyatt is our referee today.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 75, 1st down.
We're going to see Mark Wilson as he sets back. He's trying to read, looking strong side, reading the safeties. Now he steps up inside, and then Clark, 75, grabs him. Now he's down right now. Stop right there. There's no sense in that. Stop right there. He's down. They're going to blow the whistle. Clark goes through with it. 15 yards.
And instead of the sack and a 3rd down and long, it's a 1st down and 10 as the ball is moved out near the 27-yard line. And off to Marcus Allen. Tries to cut back to his right and finds it tough going. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 9. Ricky Jackson made the tackle, number 57. They are calling the plays for Mark Wilson, and that's something new in this franchise, Terry.
The Raiders have historically been one of the very few teams to allow their quarterbacks the freedom to call whatever they may choose. Now it's changed in the last 3 games. They've gone to the wristband, the Tom Maddie band, and where all the plays are written down. We'll get into it later on how they do that.
You can see that wristband on Wilson's left wrist. That's got all of the plays in the game plan listed on it. 2nd down and 8. Wilson going deep into double coverage, and it's almost picked off. Frank Wadlett had both hands on it. Intended for Jesse Hester.
Once again, just good pressure applied by it's just 4 people rushing, 3 down linemen and 1 linebacker, and they did a nice job of getting in there and forcing Mark to not be able to get his feet set and fire the football and make a poor decision.
This time Jim Smith brings the play in, an old teammate of yours with the Steelers. He's been in the USFL for the last couple of years, number 86. And Frank Hawkins will leave on 3rd down and 8. So Wilson did not have to consult that placemat he's got on his left forearm. 3rd and 8. No score in the game. 9:04 to go, first quarter. Full-man rush. Wilson pops it once. Almost picked off. Incomplete pass. Willie Tullis, a midseason acquisition from the Houston Oilers, had it in his hands and dropped it. And that's 2 that the Saints have touched.
Tullis had his man for man all over the football field, and as he steps up in front, a bad decision that time to throw to Dokie Williams, who was covered. That time Tullis reaches inside, knocks the ball away, and then almost allowed Dokie Williams the opportunity to catch it.
That brings on Ray Guy for the 2nd time, and Eric Martin back to return it. 4th and 8. That's much better. Martin has to scramble to catch up with it, and finally does make the catch, but he makes it all the way back to the 17-yard line as Ray Guy pounded one, 53 yards.
Bill, you used a dandruff shampoo on Tuesday?
And my dandruff.
9 seconds remaining, first quarter, back in the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw here for week number 6 of the 1985 season. No score thus far. And a bit of a threat by the New Orleans Saints, who took over on their first possession at the 46-yard line of Los Angeles, but could not move it. They've got it now for the 2nd time, and they operate from their own 17-yard line. Earl Campbell, Hokie Guyjon in the backfield, and again the triple tight end set. This is Campbell for 2, and really more like 1. Bill Pickel made the tackle. The Rams had a dogfight and came from behind to defeat Tampa Bay. They remain undefeated, 6-0 for the season. New England over Buffalo, so the Bills are still looking for number 1. Washington again defeated Detroit. Green Bay nipped Minnesota by 3. Cleveland over Houston, 21-6. Philadelphia wins its 2nd of the year, defeating St. Louis 30-7. No score here, 2nd down, 8. Wilson on the draw play. Guyjon goes left and wiggles across the 20 near the 22. That'll set up a 3rd and about 5.
I had an opportunity before the game to talk to Bum Phillips, and he said, we're going to run this football and pound at them. You know, he said we have a lot of respect for their corners and their pass rush, and so that's what they're trying to do. Now, what the Raiders have done is place 4 down linemen, and they call this their Raider defense, where they have 4 down linemen to bring in Townsend 93 and then move 75 long all over the place.
Guido Merkins has come in now for New Orleans, number 19. Stunts, but no blitz, and the pass across the middle is almost picked off as Guyjon couldn't hang on. It'll be 4th down.
That's the 2nd one today that Mike Davis, number 36, had to hit right in his hands, and then he's dropped it. They're trying to get isolation and run these backs on options because Davis, 36, has the back out of the backfield, man to man. He's doing a good job of covering his man, and they haven't been able to find anyone open so far.
Brian Hansen will punt. First one was 38 yards, but out of bounds at the 4. So far, the Raiders have started at their own 12, their own 4. They should have good field position this time as Fulton Walker waits at the 35.
Bad kick.
Very bad kick. good roll if you're a Saint fan. And Walker wiggles his way back to the 35-yard line. And fists fly on the near side. Joe Colbrand and Tim Moffitt had at each other. Jack Del Rio it was. That's a 46-yard punt and 4 on the return.
That's one of those punts that looks good. 46 yards, but really went 30 yards and 16-yard roll with a small breeze behind it.
Rusty Hilger has come on at quarterback for the Raiders. Coming up next Saturday on CBS Sports. College football doubleheader that we'll talk about a little more a little later. But now,
fans love him.
Of Mark Wilson. Don't they always love the rookie?
They love the guys coming off the bench.
6th-round choice from Oklahoma State. Marcus Allen around the right side of the 41-yard line.
Similar play they had run earlier. There's Hilgers out of Oklahoma State, and I said, Coach, how'd you find this guy? I said, well, he's 6th-rounder. We looked at him. Everybody else didn't think a lot of him, but we like him. We like his attitude. He said, and the guys like him, Vern. He's cocky and he's self-assured, and he said he reminds me a lot of whom? Kenny Stabler. Except
really?
He throws right-handed. And also, he's bow-legged, and all great quarterbacks are bow-legged.
That's one I hadn't noticed before. 2nd down and 4. Hilger hands it off, and Allen is stuffed behind the line for a loss of 1.
Looked like the old college option, didn't it? The wishbone, fake one way, come back the other. Very similar to the trap options that the Steelers used to run in the 70s and the 80s and probably on through the 2000s.
Well, we could talk about that for a while.
Well, we could, but let's don't.
All right. That's the first time Dallas has defeated Pittsburgh since 1972. And that was a game in which you threw 3 touchdowns in your 2nd year in Texas Stadium, right? 3rd down and 6. No score in this game. 5:55 to go, first quarter. Stunts by the New Orleans front 4, and Frank Warren got there. Number 73, and his was not a stunt. It was a straight charge from the right side. That is the 3rd sack. 1 has been negated by a penalty.
The Raiders have had trouble setting up and giving their quarterback time to look the field over and find their deep receivers first. This time Hilger had no opportunity, and actually all his receivers were man-to-man covered, and no one was open.
Word from the bench on Mark Wilson is an injury to his left shoulder, and he is wearing a flak jacket. We'll get a further report as we have time. Ray Guy on the kick for the 3rd time. Scoreless first quarter, 5:25 to go. And Eric Martin waits for the kick. Another dandy. But Martin will have time to return it. There's also a flag down. Flag is up near midfield. Tackle is made by Brad Van Pelt. That's a 55-yard kick and a 10-yard return if it stands. Against New Orleans. And that will effectively change the field position.
Personal foul, number 39 to the head. 1st down.
That's Brett Maxey, number 39, guilty of the foul, so the ball has been pushed back inside the 15-yard line.
I asked Bum Phillips, I said, Coach, what have you done differently? He said, we ain't done nothing differently. He said they're just playing good football. He did say this, and it's a very interesting point. He said that their summer camp, their training camp, was so hard on their football team. He said, I honestly believe, Terry, that our teams, our legs are just now coming back. Our guys are just now getting fresh. And they really attribute their slow start to the conditioning and the heat they had up in North Louisiana.
There goes Mark Wilson into the locker room, or he is going. Well, Plunkett is out with a dislocated shoulder. Wilson is out with a problem with his left shoulder now. John Tice in motion from the 6-yard line. Earl Campbell for a couple. Terry, let me go back to that point that Bum Phillips made. If that's the case, is that a coaching problem in working those guys that hard in training camp?
they had a problem with the humidity, and the two-a-days that they were going through was draining the energy from their legs. And then I don't think they realized it until they got back to New Orleans and started the opening game of the first game of the season.
If you're wondering, the next quarterback, if Hilger should get hurt, is Ray Guy for the Raiders. Here's Campbell left side. It has been 15 games since Earl Campbell scored a touchdown. That is awesome. That's just amazing. For the season, a 3.6 average.
Well, so much has been said. New Orleans, the trade, why they do is just let him play football, and let's see whether or not Earl can really do what he used to do.
And Bum expects to use him a lot today, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
3rd and 1. Wayne Wilson, who is the leaper, has come into the backfield. Larry Hardy in motion. Campbell gets it.
First down.
And moves the pile backwards.
He did. They were hanging all over his back and with those big legs, and we're talking big legs, huge thighs. Earl Campbell can, I don't tell how many bales of hay this guy could tote on his shoulders, but look at the legs this guy has.
Oak trees. 1st and 10. Campbell has now carried 5 times for 13 yards. No score, 3:31 to go first quarter. Eric Martin comes wide to the right side against Lester the Molester Hayes. Lester said he thought he might pick one off and return it today. We'll keep our eye on that. Pass is deep, double coverage, and incomplete. Intended for Wayne Wilson, and Van McElroy got a pretty good pop on him.
This is a very confusing read for the quarterback, for he sees zone, but actually it's man. And you can see number 54 was deep underneath him, and then the corners came out and the safeties were laying off. But that,
want to welcome those of you who've been watching the Cincinnati victory over the New York Giants 35-30. We are scoreless in the first quarter here in Los Angeles. And New Orleans has the ball with an incomplete pass thrown by Dave Wilson. A flag is also down. 3:10 remaining in this game, and there have been no serious, in the first quarter, no serious scoring threats so far. As we said, there was a flag on that play, and we'll get the interpretation from Freddie Wyatt.
Offside, number 71, first down.
That's Bill Pickell, the nose tackle, 3-year man out of Rutgers. Chicago has taken a rather shocking early 13-0 lead over San Francisco. I don't know why that's shocking.
I don't either. I'm surprised you said that. We're talking a team that's 5-0.
That's right.
Monsters of the Midway
are back. 3:10 to go, first quarter, no score here. 2nd down and 5. John Tice in motion. Campbell for 2. Reggie McKenzie, number 54, put the pop on him, a rookie from Tennessee, and gets a slap from Lyle Alzado.
They like Reggie McKenzie. They like his speed and his toughness, and they also like a guy that's playing behind him, and Jerry Robinson, who they picked up on a little trade with Philadelphia and signed him. So they've got an all-pro backing up a rookie, McKenzie.
I wonder how long that'll last.
Well, I don't know.
I think Jerry Robinson thinks he's going to start before the year's out. 3rd down, 3. No score, first quarter. Big hole. Wayne Wilson. The tackle made by Rod Martin. But it's another New Orleans first down. Wilson had a good game last week in that win over Philadelphia. How about the Eagles pounding St. Louis today?
Well, the Eagles, all they needed was to get their quarterbacks some good coaching.
Right. Sid Gilman has gone back to Philadelphia. I think he's older than Methuselah. 1st down and 10. Campbell again. Fumbled. No, ball was down.
No, now they're saying yes.
Now they changed. Fred Wyatt at first said the ball was down, New Orleans ball, and Rod Martin comes up with it. First turnover of the game.
It's a simple pull out, open up, and it's a straight play to Earl Campbell. And he comes across there. McHale comes across actually and hits Earl on the back, knocks the ball out, and then Rod Martin comes over and makes the fumble recovery.
First turnover of the game goes to the Raiders.
The Florida Everglades, an old
case with both of these clubs, including that last turnover. The Saints are +3, and the Raiders are now +1 for the season. First and 10, Hilger the quarterback. Play fake, and he'll throw for the 8th time in his career. And he hits his man. Jesse Hester, the rookie, out of bounds at the 10. Frank Wadlett finally got to him, a gain of 29.
There's nothing better there's nothing that can happen to a young quarterback than getting his first completion. The confidence level just soars. You see a little play action to Marcus Allen. He sets up, picks his receiver out, and just drills that baby in there. Goes right by Poe, and then all of a sudden Hester has a little foot race and is finally brought out of bounds by Frank Wadlett.
Pretty good pass.
They love his arm. They say this guy's got the attitude it takes to make it in the National Football League, but they especially like his arm.
He's now 2 of 8 for the year. This time he'll give it off, and he gives it off to a pretty good man. Touchdown, Marcus Allen.
Well, the Raiders don't do a lot of fancy stuff with their offensive line. They straight block them. You're going to see Shelby Jordan, number 74, and Hannah, 73. They're going right over right guard. Bruce, right up the middle. He picks the hole and goes inside. Easy 6. Well, easy right here. Hard for Marcus, though.
Chris Barr on to try and make it 7-0. And Ray Guy will hold in place of Mark Wilson. No problem. Took only 2 plays to go 40 yards after the fumble recovery. Allen gets the touchdown. The ground this season has given the Raiders a 7-0 lead. It comes with 1:36 to go first quarter. And now Chris Barr kicks it deep to Willie Tullis and Eric Martin. Eric Martin. Scissored at the 17-yard line. The tackle is made by Fulton Walker, number 41. Next Sunday on CBS Sports, some of you will see the New Orleans Saints as they travel to Atlanta for an NFC Western Conference game. And others of you will watch the Cowboys, now 5-1, against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia in an important NFC Eastern Division game. Check the local listings for the game in your area. That's next Sunday. It all begins with the NFL Today on CBS. Wilson 0 of 3 so far in the game. 2 wide receivers set to the left side. Dijon the only running back. Flag is down, could be holding. Pass is incomplete, intended for John Tice, number 82.
You have Howie Long, number 75. They're left in. The Raiders left in, complaining that time. So you got to expect holding was against him. There it is.
Can't see it now because of the helmet, but Howie Long is sporting a new Arnold Schwarzenegger hairdo.
They were giving him a pretty hard time about it the other day at their practice site. They were hollering, Howie, Schwarzenegger, and they were really letting him have it with that hairdo.
New Orleans, the second most penalized team
First down.
in the National Football League, just behind the Oilers.
Had Ralph Wilson that time, 79, the right guard for the Saints, was holding that time on Howie Long. You know, Howie Long, that's not a very vicious name for a guy that's the best pass rusher and defensive lineman in National Football. Of course, I'm not going to tell Howie that.
I don't think so.
I just did, but he didn't hear it.
Lyle Alzado told us yesterday he is by far our best defensive lineman. And for Alzado to admit that is something. First down and 20. Yeah. Dijon for a couple.
The one thing that has made the Saints, outside of their defense playing so well and aggressive in the last 3 victories, is the fact that their offense had gotten out of the pattern, Vern, of running. I didn't say anything to Bum Phillips because he's the coach, but I believe that if he's going to win this football game, he is going to definitely have to mix it up and throw on first down, second down.
Why didn't you say something to him? Hokie Gajan, who was out last week with an injury, is back on the bench, and Wayne Wilson is in the lineup. Second down and 14, 7-0. Los Angeles leads. Comes the blitz. Wilson, a flag is also down as Wilson finds Wilson, and the tackle is made by Reggie McKenzie. And Mike Haynes and Bill Pickel. And here is Fred Wyatt. Or soon we will hear from Fred Wyatt.
Well, while Fred's making there, Fred.
Illegal motion, decline. Third down.
Lester Hayes told me, he said, you know, we're going to try to come out in this football game and really confuse Wilson. We want him to think we're doing zones, and we want him to think we're blitzing. He said, we're going to do lots of different things. That was a good example of last time. They had a screen on. They blitz. Screens are no good against blitzes because the linebackers have the guys going to catch that screen pass man for man.
How about how much film Lester Hayes watched this week? Said he went back and looked at film of Bum's Oiler teams in 78 and 80 to prepare for this game. Third and 18. Dave Wilson overshoots everybody up from the 50-yard line as Hobie Brenner was the intended receiver. But again, this sticky Raider defense was held, and the offense will take over with good field position.
It's a unique coverage of what the Raiders are doing is that they're playing man for man underneath, running everyone man to man. The quarterback sees that and he says, wow, man to man, I'll get my tight end down the middle. But they're also playing zone with their two top safeties, Davis and Van McElroy. They're playing them in zones, and it's very difficult for a quarterback to decipher all of that.
Wyatt Hanson will kick to Fulton Walker, and it's another poor kick. That's a line drive, and Walker will take it to 48. Still on his feet to the 25-yard line. Nifty bit of running by Fulton Walker before Brett Maxey makes the tackle. And there's a sample of why the man is leading the National Football League in punt returns. That's a 26-yard return of a 42-yard line drive. We have reached the end of the first quarter of play. The Raiders lead it 7-0. Los Angeles, where they love to boo their quarterbacks. They have booed men from Waterfield to Van Brocklin to Roman Gabriel to Bill Munson, and now they are booing Mark Wilson, who is back in the lineup. So apparently the shoulder injury not that serious, and when he came on the field, the boos started cascading down. First down from the 27. If he completes this pass, they'll stop, but that's going to increase him. Dave Waymer. That had to be just a problem with the receiver and the quarterback.
That was just an exchange, and that time he caught Wilson in indecision. He said, whoop, he's going one way, and he threw the ball the other way, and those things happen. And unfortunately, you've got these fans booing, and they're not going to accept that. They won't. He's given them an excuse to really get out on his case.
Update you, Chicago running all over San Francisco. 3 field goals by Kevin Butler. Seattle leading Atlanta by 7. And Kansas City an early lead over San Diego. Second down. Draw play, right side. Flag is also down as Frank Hawkins gets his first carry of the day, number 27, and runs into Jack Del Rio. Motion penalty against the Raiders.
Getting back to that booing of quarterbacks.
Illegal motion, number 46. Second down.
You know, whenever I would leave the football game because of an injury and then come back out and they'd send me back in the game and they booed. This is primarily in my early part of my career. I mean, I hated those people.
Did you really?
Oh man, I said, I'll show you. Now sometimes I did, most times I didn't. But it infuriated me that they would boo a guy that was hurt and then came back.
So when a quarterback says, oh, it doesn't affect me, that's baloney.
That is an outline. That's a lie.
Second down and 15. Marcus Allen had gone in motion left. It goes across the middle, caught by the tight end Todd Christensen. They got 7 back, and Glenn Red, number 58, made the tackle. And I think Todd's being, or is complaining about being held at the line. He will talk a bit.
Well, Todd likes catching football, and he likes to talk a little, psychology, a little philosophy, a little social science. And then he'll do a good job of catching footballs.
He leads the league in tight end receptions over Mickey Schuler, Doug Cosby of the Cowboys. That was going into today's game. Now Now Jim Smith has come in as a third wide receiver for the Raiders on third down at 8. 7-0 Los Angeles leads. Pretty good protection. Great catch. First and goal at the 7. Todd Christensen. Drafted by the Cowboys out of Brigham Young in the second round. They wanted to make him a tight end, and he said, no, I'm a fullback. They finally sent him to New York, who wanted to make him a tight end. He said, no, I'm a fullback. He came to the Raiders.
Wilson's coming back. He sees this man coverage. He just picks him up right off the bat. Jackson, 57, had him man for man. A nice high pass, and that let Christensen go up and show his ability to one-handed.
First and goal, Los Angeles with a 7-0 lead. Here is Marcus Allen, 4th touchdown of the year. All of it set up by the 26-yard punt return from Fulton Walker.
The Raiders have a makeshift offensive line. At 79, Davis pulls up and picks up the linebacker, opens up the hole for 32, Marcus Allen. He just picks his way in there and gets the touchdown. But they have moved around now and have Davis at guard and Jordan at tackle.
And Barr to kick out of the hold of Ray Guy, and it's perfect.
Right. But they do.
Los Angeles has extended the lead to 14. Twice that last drive only 26 yards after Fulton Walker's 26-yard punt return. And now Chris Barr getting set to kick it deep to Eric Martin or Willie Thomas. 14-0 in the Coliseum. That'll be a touchback. And the Saints will get it at their own 20-yard line. Terry, you mentioned during the commercial break that New Orleans seems a little unsure of itself. And do you think that might be on account of the reputation of L.A.?
I think some of it would be. Vern, a young football team like the Saints that have proven they can play and defeat great teams on the road, as the 49er game was a good indication of that. Coming in to play the Raiders with the silver and the black and the image and the patch over the eye, and and they move from one town, go to another. I think it does have an effect on a team, especially a young one.
There's not a man on this New Orleans roster who has played the Raiders before. The last time these two teams met was in '79. Dave Wilson back to throw. That pass is on the money, and that's a first down to Larry Hardy, the tight end, out near the 38-yard line. Lester the molester made the tackle.
Lester the molester. This is one of those passes that you dream about. A linebacker, you're going to see they're just dropping off in those zones, and 87 just brings it down, finds the open spot, beats McKenzie for the outside. Hardy makes the catch.
19-yard gain. Sean Jones has come in as defensive end, number 99. Saw Larry Hardy's stats for the year. Wilson is now 2 out of 6. He's going deep for his tight end, Hobie Brenner, and is 2 feet too long. Reggie McKenzie back defending, and Dave Wilson took a pop.
It looks like they're trying to attack McKenzie, get him isolated on their tight end, get him isolated on their backs. That time Brenner had a couple of steps on the young linebacker from Tennessee, but Wilson was unable to hit him with a football.
Dallas played Pittsburgh earlier today, and I think in the minds of many people that is, and it was back in the 70s, a great rivalry. But I want to talk after this play about your rivalry at Pittsburgh with this Raider team, because there were some great games.
Never was a rivalry.
No, Second down and 10.
Oh, he got him.
Bobbed his head?
I don't think he bobbed his head. I think he changed his voice inflection and got him to believe he was going on a count earlier, and changed it and went on a longer count and got him.
Ball start, 79.
And got
Second down.
Well, he got him all right. I
Williams.
just didn't say who he had got, did I? Who he had gotten. Ralph Williams, 79, the right guard, got his own man. I never did like to go on long snap counts. Our guys were too nervous and uptight. We're little short fellas that I had. They wanted to come off the ball, so I had to go everything on one, hook one, and away we went.
And went pretty well.
For a while, it did.
Second down, 15. 14-0, Los Angeles leads it. We're in the second quarter. Wayne Wilson comes left for about 4. Really, in your mind, well, we'll talk about college football coming up.
is.
There, I knew it would
Tell
come
them
up.
about it,
If I
Vern.
said the magic words, it was going to appear. Next Saturday, a doubleheader. The first game, Purdue against Ohio State, live at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. And that'll be followed by the Auburn Tigers against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Both teams won, and Auburn won big. That's coming up next Saturday. Third down and 10. Oh! Hobie Brenner with the catch after the rebound. First at 30. First down at the 30. How about that?
I'd rather be lucky than good, and that's one of the cases where you have the right man in the right spot when a ball bounces out and Hobie Brenner reaches up and makes the catch. You got to wonder about Wilson and Brenner being roommates, how this guy's always catching these crucial passes, even the ones that are tipped. You know they're not planned. Once again, it was good pass protection. They gave Wilson plenty of time. Now he's throwing to number 87, Hardy. He reaches up, tips the ball, and Brenner, 85, is right behind him and makes the grab.
First down at the 30. New Orleans has the ball. Deepest penetration of the first half. Wilson sets, goes deep. Eric Martin tries to adjust the route, and it's caught and picked off by Van McElroy. Second turnover of the game.
McElroy that time set Wilson up. He set him up into believing that he was going to the strong middle, going over to Wilson's right. See, Wilson's looking to the right. Now he says, all right, Van McElroy, whatever your name, I'm going back to the left. Now I'm going to fire over here in the left corner. No way. McElroy right there. Set him up, came back in, read his eyes, and made a great break on the ball for the interception.
Touchback.
McElroy. McElroy.
There you go. Stick with me, Bub. First down at the 20. Split backs behind Mark Wilson. Movement in the line. That should be 5 against the Raiders. Looked like the right guard might have moved. They are playing, as we have said, with a patchwork line.
Ball start, 79.
That's
First
Bruce
down.
Davis, who is starting at right guard, having started originally at left tackle.
Well, he was at left tackle. They moved him to right guard when Mickey Marvin was injured. And then Shelby Jordan, number 74, he moves up to left tackle. Dalby's out, and then in goes Mosbar, Don Mosbar, number 72. So they've got a patched up starting offensive line.
Doesn't matter. It's a big one, regardless. They're huge.
Oh, they're proud of it, too. 6'7", 290 average.
First down and 15 from the 15. Marcus Allen, quick opener left side, good for a gain of 3. Tony Elliott, the nose tackle, made the stop. He is really a man who's come on for the Saints lately, number 99.
He was a young man that had some problems, was waived out of the league for a year. He came back at the end of last year for the Saints, played, he's improved, he's gotten his weight down, he knows the system, and now they're saying he is playing inspired football.
You also see in that lineup number 50, Jack Del Rio. Scott Pellure was scheduled to start today, pulled a hamstring in practice on Friday, and Bum said, no way I'm going to play him. So Del Rio and Alvin Tolles will alternate in that position today. Wilson, with a little pressure, pops it out. Frank Hawkins makes the catch and pays a price. It'll be 3rd and 10. Jack Del Rio made the tackle, number 50. Rookie 3rd-round draft choice who's back home. He played his collegiate ball at Southern California. Had a few magic moments on this particular football field.
I would imagine so. Fans, the Raider fans are having a hard time, Vern, getting used to this new passing offense. They're used to the 25-yard comeback routes, the deep posts and takeoffs that LaMonica and Stabler are so famous for. This new offensive scheme is totally different from that.
And we'll see how it works now on 3rd down and 10. 9:14 to go in the half. 14-0. Blitz is coming from the outside. Wilson is going deep. Man coverage. Waymer waits. And that'll be incomplete. Dave Waymer, who had 3 interceptions last week, almost had one then. Flag is down. Holding. Raiders will be declined.
Holding, number 70. Declined, 4th down.
Henry Lawrence, the right tackle. You know, ever since I've retired from football, Vern, these guys that I used to play against and fight against and argue with in the papers, now I'll go up to them, and Henry Lawrence was one of them right before the game because he bear hugs me and says, how you doing, Brad? Man, good to see you.
Martin with the fair catch signal and takes it at the 39-yard line. Saints trail 14-0. Need to get something going. Mr. Terry Bradshaw, the Saints and the Raiders having at it here in the City of Angels in Southern California. New Orleans going after its 4th in a row, but they've got to get something ignited if they're going to come close to it, as the Raiders have had 2 Marcus Allen touchdowns to take a 14-0 lead. Further problems, Hokie Kaijon doubtful he'll return with a hamstring. Same of Jeff Groth of the New Orleans Saints. And Earl Campbell is topped by Bill Pickel. Now let's go to New York for this NFL Today report. And Tyrone Anthony has come in with Wayne Wilson in the backfield, and Anthony lines up in the slot to the right side. 2nd down, 11. Wilson to throw. Under some pressure, Howie Long. And Long gets there right as Wilson lets the ball go. Watch Long come after him, Terry.
Well, Howie Long is the only man on the defensive line that has the freedom to do whatever he feels like doing. That time they moved him down inside at right tackle. He came outside around the guard that time. Perot beat him, got to Wilson, and forced him to make a bad throw.
That brings up a 3rd down, 11. The Saints are 3 out of 6 in 3rd down conversions, and Wilson is a rather anemic 3 of 10 for 45 yards. One of those a deflected catch. 4-man rush for the Raiders. Wilson goes deep. He's got a man wide open. John Tice, the tight end, 1st down at the 27-yard line. As Tice got behind Mike Davis, and Wilson was right on target.
Well, twice Mike Davis had the football thrown right in his hand. This time,
there's a flag.
Bringing her back. Well, that's a shame, because that's something that the Saints needed a big play, and they got it that time. But a penalty is going to bring it back.
No, they.
Don't forget to turn your mic off, Fred.
Fred, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Are you sure you got the right? Okay, now the Raiders are telling him who the penalty's on. Okay, now I'll go over here and tell everyone.
Holding number 61. 3rd down.
That is Joel Hilgenberg. And that wiped out a huge gain of 34 yards.
You know, it's interesting, too, that Hilgenberg, who was called for holding that time, and Bum Phillips has told me that he's the finest pass blocker he has seen coming from the snap position. He said he has great balance, great leverage on the nose tackles.
3rd and 21. Saints down 14-0. Wilson gets rid of it behind the intended receiver, Lindsey Scott, number 80. And that'll bring on Brian Hansen on 4th down. We mentioned that Eugene Goodlow was injured. Kenny Duckett has been activated. New Orleans at one time or another has lost 9 starters to injury so far this year.
Now with Kaijon out with a hamstring.
And Jeff Groth on the bench.
Groth out with a hamstring.
Brian Hansen on to kick, and Fulton Walker ready to return. 7:33 to go, 1st half. 14-0. Los Angeles has the lead. That's a fairly decent kick. Walker at 35. Bounces off a tackle and is knocked out of bounds at the 43-yard line. James Haynes made the tackle on that 37-yard punt, 8 on the return. There was a hang time of 4.2. Coming up at halftime, the NFL Today, Brent Musburger will have scores and highlights of all of the games around the National Football League here in week number 6. And there was a flag on that last punt. And the ball has been spotted at the 43.
They declined the penalty, of course. A short punt, so they declined the penalty here.
Mark Wilson breaks the huddle. He is 4 of 9 for 31 yards. 1st down and 10. Marcus Allen going left with room. And is tackled at the 48-yard line by Jack Del Rio, number 50.
Something you see very seldom is a sweep block where they will pull both guards. Well, this time Allen just goes out. They hand it off to him deep. He goes over the left side, but they didn't pull the guards. They kept them in. It was just like a wide pick play. Find a hole, pick here. Find a hole, pick it there. 10 rushes so far, 44 yards. More importantly, the 2 scores.
Second down, 6. Play fake. Wilson looks deep, fires deep, incomplete.
Drop ball.
Jesse Hester. And they're booing Wilson, and that's certainly not his fault.
Well, they're looking for any excuse to boo Mark Wilson, and I would believe honestly that it would take a 5 or 6 TD performance for him to shut up all these people that are booing him.
There's Jim Plunkett on the sideline.
Ask Jim about boo. He can tell you all about it. The thing I admire most about him is the fact that he put all these people out of his mind, didn't worry about him, went out and did his job.
Now, you talked to him yesterday. Does he think he'll be back this year?
He says that there's a possibility that he will be back this year. I said, well, Jim, do you want to play any more football? He said, yes, I do.
Third down and 6. Stunts by the Saints. Wilson gets rid of it. Incomplete. Intended for Jim Smith at the 35-yard line, and Johnny Poe was there to knock it away.
One of the things that the Raider offense does that's totally different from most passing offenses that the quarterback and the receiver do is the fact that Mark Wilson has to wait till he sees the numbers of the receiver before he delivers the football, unlike when he was at BYU, Vern, where he had a timing pass where he anticipated and he threw. That time Jim Smith broke open, was wide open, beat Poe. Wilson saw his numbers through it, gave Poe time to react and knock the ball down.
All of which means that Ray Guy has come on, and he will kick it deep to Eric Martin with 6:33 to go first half and a 14-0 Los Angeles lead.
Beauty.
Sure is. Touchback.
He only kicked it 67 yards from where he was standing.
Officially, he's going to get credit for a 53-yard kick, which isn't bad at all. Raiders have the lead of 14. In Los Angeles, California, Vern Lundquist along with Terry Bradshaw, 14-0 LA leads. You played out here, right?
I played out here, let me think. One time I know of. I played the Rams here, and I played the Pro Bowl here, but I played the Rams here on a Monday night or a Thursday, one of those nights. I didn't play that well, and I played that. I never did play the Raiders here. I was dressed out, but I was hurt. That was like my last year to be with the Steelers. So I've only played actually here twice. Both of them were at night, and both of them were games I would like to forget.
New Orleans' last 5 possessions haven't gone very far. Punt, fumble, punt, interception, and punt. Ryan Hansen has been busy. And they trail by a 14-0 score.
Well, you can attribute all of that to the fact that the Raiders have done such an outstanding job of mixing up coverages and fronts and confusing not only the line blocking, but also the quarterback as far as his read.
First down 10. Dave Wilson is 3 out of 11 for 45 yards. Wayne Wilson coming left and spilled at the 23.5-yard line. That'll make it a 2nd down and 7. Both touchdowns so far in the game came on runs by Marcus Allen, 1 of 11 yards after a fumble recovery, a 40-yard drive. And the other drive was only 26 yards after Fulton Walker's 26-yard punt return set up New Orleans. Or rather, set up the Raiders. New Orleans' one threat ended in a Van McElroy interception in the end zone. Blitz. Hobie Brenner's got the first down at the 37-yard line. Jeff Barnes, number 56, made the tackle, but they're going an awful lot to the tight ends now.
They're going to the tight ends now because they know that Hobie Brenner's has man coverage. There's one guy he has to beat, and he is their best receiver. You're going to see Wilson comes out, they're blitzing, they do a good job of picking it up. He finds Brenner, says, whoop, there you are. Brenner beats his man, and there you have the first down.
First down, New Orleans at the 36-yard line. 14-0. Los Angeles leads, 5:44 to go first half. And again, a 4-man front. Here's a reverse to Eric Martin.
It's set up. It's there.
First down, out of bounds, and there's a flag all the way back at the 26-yard line.
They did a face mask. Raiders. They did an excellent job of disguising that and setting up the flow. good job of setting up their blockers and got into the running lane and got down and got the first down and got the penalty on top of it.
Face mask, number 71, 15 yards.
Bill
First
Pickel.
down.
Bill Pickel, number 71, the nose tackle, or what they call a nose guard here in Los Angeles, guilty of a face guard. I wonder if he grabbed the center or to throw him out of the way. Well, whatever, it's 15 yards and a costly penalty.
It was not Eric Martin. And now all of a sudden New Orleans has a first down at the 38-yard line. First and 10. Wayne Wilson tries to go right, cuts back left, and manages to squeeze out about 3 yards. .5:17 to go first half. Kansas City leading Toronto 2-0 in the bottom of the second. And Seattle leading Atlanta 7-6 in the second quarter. In the NFL up in Seattle, Kansas City over San Diego by 10, 17-7. Just under 5 minutes to go in the half. Chicago over San Francisco by 9. Our score 14-0. Third down from the 34-yard line. Second down, rather. Blitz coming. Wilson reads it, pops it out complete. That's another first down for the New Orleans Saints. As Eric Martin made the catch, there is also a flag down again.
This was a good job by the young rookie from LSU, as once again the Raiders blitz. He was outside on one of the great cornerbacks in the National Football League, Lester Hayes. He beats him man for man. Good timing that time by Wilson.
Holding, number 61.
Well, that's the second time on Joel
Second down.
Hilgenberg. You know, all of his brothers went to the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're winning big, and he said, we're the only family that plays catch and never faces one another.
And that'll break it second down and 17 instead of a first down inside the 25. Wilson barely. There's a deflected pass. Tipped.
Rod Martin, number 53, made a great play on that ball. Good protection that time. Gave the offensive line gave Wilson a lot of time to pick up the receiver, but Martin, 53, from his right corner linebacker spot, dropped back inside, got underneath, and knocked the ball down.
That'll stop the clock with 4:12 to go in the first half and sets up a third down 17. The Saints 3 out of 7 on third down conversions, and Wilson now 4 of 13 for 58 yards. 57. There will be another flag, and this time they won't let the play get unraveled as Sean Jones, number 99, came offside. He was in there in place of Lyle Alzado.
Well, Sean Jones, number 99, as he moved back into tackle, and they're moving Howie Long outside. Here we go.
Encroachment, number 99. Third down.
This is a good. You got to hand it to Wilson. He's doing a good job of getting in there and mixing his counts up. And these guys are listening, and they're going on a quick count, Vern, and they pick that up, then they fire off, and they're almost off the ball with the offensive line. Now they're coming back, and they're faking the quick count, going on a longer count, and the Raiders are jumping off sides, anticipating the quicker count.
Third and 12, 14-0 with 4:11 to go in the first half. Good protection for Wilson. Vito Merkins goes deep, makes the catch. Touchdown! They went right at an all-pro cornerback, Mike Haynes, and Guido Merkins, who was in there for an injured Jeff Groth, who was in for an injured Eugene Goodlow, comes up with the catch.
Well, this is just a great individual effort by Merkins. You're going to see once again outstanding protection. LaFari does a fine job at tackle, holding Long out, and he comes inside. Now he comes back, and Guido has Haynes beat. Now he tries to close the ground on Merkins, but he can't. as he reaches up and makes the grab.
He's an all-purpose performer as Dave Wilson throws a touchdown and Morton Anderson comes on. Guido Merkins, wide receiver, backup quarterback, and all-round special teams good guy.
Extra point holder.
Right. Out of Sam Houston State, played for Bum Phillips with the Oilers and joined Bum in New Orleans, and he cuts the lead to 14-7 with 4:03 to go in the half.
Sometimes you have to wonder if cornerbacks with the talent of Hayes and Haynes don't look at a guy like Merkins and not have quite the respect for him. Then all of a sudden, boom, he's by him. Then they try to make the ground up, and then the quarterback gets the football in there, and they make a big play, and then Haynes is sitting there pounding the ground wondering, how in the world of this guy who's been cut by 2 or 3 football teams beat me for a touchdown? Well, he did.
And that shaves the margin to 14-7 with 4:03 to go. 80 yards in 6 plays, 222, a 39-yard pass from Wilson to Guido Merkins. That is his first touchdown catch since 1981.
Well, with the injury to Growth, it could be that he's their man they have to go to. They're very similar in the fact that they both have average speed, but they also have excellent hands. And the thing that's so obvious about Guido Merkins is the fact he is an all-around athlete, so they use him everywhere. So playing him at receiver, maybe they're not as surprised by the fact that he made a catch like that and beat an all-pro as maybe some of the fans are.
So with a 14-7 score now, Morton Anderson will kick off, and Fulton Walker and Sam Seal are deep for the Raiders. As we broadcast from Los Angeles in week 6 of the 1985 season. Boy, what an impressive drive by the Saints.
That was. Al Davis told me, he said, we're not a good football team yet. And with the Saints' ability to go down the field and make big plays, you have to agree with him. They're not a good football yet. Good football team.
That ball taken by Fulton Walker at the 5, gets it back near the 15 and spins up to the 19-yard line. They might spot him at the 20. Tackle is made by Willie Tullis. Well, it's going to be quite a day. October 26th, Patrick Ewing's debut with the New York Knicks in the NBA as Philadelphia takes on the Knicks live at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Ewing, perhaps the most ballyhooed recruit into the NBA since a guy named Al Cindor came into the league and changed his name to Jabbar back in the late 60s. Patrick Ewing's debut, and you'll see it live on CBS October 26th. Brett Maxey, number 39, an injured New Orleans Saint, down at the 17-yard line. Oh, they have been nicked and banged up in just about every position.
Well, they've had injuries, and with of course everyone by now is well aware of the fact that they've gone from 49 to 45 on their man roster. And when you have these injuries, and you've had 9, 10, now 11 starters out, now Brett Maxey, a fine young cornerback that they found and brought in as a free agent and signed and have great hopes for. Now he's injured, a very valuable man on their special teams. You know, sometimes these coaches got to wonder, you know, just exactly why does this have to happen to us?
Well, Maxey is being assisted to his feet. As a matter of fact, there are league meetings begin tomorrow. And Al Davis is going to try once more to get the league to expand back to 49 from the 45 limit. I don't think he thinks his prospects are too good. Well, if he took a vote of the coaches, he'd win it. But it's the general managers and owners who are going to vote.
Well, Brett Maxey appears to be all right, Burns, so that's, you know, that's one good sign. But they have lost a lot of people. And not only have the Saints had injuries to several starters, also the Raiders have.
Most notably Plunkett. And Kurt Marsh, who went down the second day of the summer, starting offensive lineman. Marcus Allen weaves his way to the outside and gets to the 23-yard line. James Gathers, number 97, makes the tackle with help from Frank Watlett. Look at this. Hard to believe that the Saints are trailing 14-7.
It's hard to believe that the Raider offense is not right up there at the top of the league, and to find that the Saints are 159 and they're 86 is equally hard to believe, especially playing here on their home turf.
The 2 touchdowns for Los Angeles came on drives of 40 and 26 yards. One followed a fumble recovery, one followed a punt return. Wilson back to throw. Lobs it deep. That's up for grabs and caught now. Incomplete. Jesse Hester could not quite hang on as Frank Watlet was able to bat it away. And the #1 draft choice from Florida State is still down.
This was a good effort by this young man, that they are extremely high on number 84, who is injured. Goes up for the football, makes a nice effort here to catch the football. Hester in the center of your screen as he goes up. Now Watlet goes over the top of him and lands on him, twists his body down, and then falls on top, and the ball hits the ground. Incomplete. Now this is only the 4th receiver, Vern, to start at the left side receiver spot for the Raiders in the entire history of the Raiders. Vernon Wells.
Warren Wells. Art Powell.
Powell's the first. Wells was the second.
And then a guy you remember well.
Name him.
Cliff Branch, right?
Cliff is, of course, on injured reserve this year. And now this young man, and they believe that he is in the caliber of those people and that he can be a great player in the National Football League. That's how high they are on number 84.
Good to see. He's going to be all right. In the meantime, old compadre of yours, Jim Smith, has taken his spot.
Well, Jim Smith has been in the USFL for 3 years, and he's caught 90 passes already this year prior to becoming a Raider. And talking to him, he said, I'm really happy to be here, but I'm a little tired.
I bet he is. Oh, he was happy to see you yesterday.
Well, we were old golfing buddies back in Pittsburgh. I used to take a lot of money off of Jim. I set him up. First thing he told me yesterday was I've been taking a lot of golf lessons, and I'm down to a 9 handicap, but he lies. I know better than that.
3rd down, 5. 3:07 to go, first half, 14-7 LA leads. Wide split in the backfield. Christensen split off the line. Wilson lobs it out again. Incomplete. Watlet almost had it. And that will increase the boo leverage. Intended for Marcus Allen.
Well, the whole time that Wilson was sitting back there and moving around trying to make something happen, he tried to get it to Christensen coming across the field, and the pressure, Vern, had moved him out of the pocket, and he picked up Marcus Allen going down the sideline, and he did not see Watlet, number 49. When a quarterback is moving like that, he doesn't see those safeties. He only sees the receivers, and that time he was fortunate that Watlet didn't intercept the football.
Eric Martin getting ready to return Ray Guy's kick. Mark Wilson is now 4 out of 13. And Dave Wilson is 5 of 14. We've not seen a great passing.
Another dandy.
Fair catch called at the 30-yard line by Eric Martin. That is a 46-yard kick off the foot of Ray Guy. Saints get it back with 2:53 to go, first half. At halftime, Seattle over Atlanta 7-6. Falcons trying to win. Kansas City over San Diego 17-14 second quarter. And Chicago still leads San Francisco 16-7. Don't forget that Brent Musburger will be by with all of the scores and highlights coming up at halftime on the NFL Today.
I'm interested. I'm very anxious to see how the Saints react now. They've held the Raiders. Now they've got the football on the 30-yard line. They just made big plays and scored. So I'm anxious to see what they do this time.
They'll send Eric Martin in motion wide to the right side. Good protection. Wilson now is in trouble. It finally broke down, and Howie Long got there.
Well, you keep dropping back against what is now no secret that this man, number 75, Howie Long, is the very best defensive end in the National Football League. You're going to see him as he comes inside. They have him at tackle on the left of your screen, 75, and tackle. Comes over, gets inside on number 79, Ralph Williams, and beats him and gets in and puts Wilson down. There's a deal that Long has given up $500 to muscular dystrophy here in L.A., and backers are given $2,000, $2,500 for every sack he gets, Vern.
And that's been kept quiet so far. Here's Wilson, the one hopper. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and huge yardage. Yeah, the Howie Long story about the donation he's making to muscular dystrophy has not received much publicity out here.
Well, no one. The Raiders have not released that information, and they told me that earlier. They said if he gets a sack today, he's going to give $500 up to muscular dystrophy, and backers will give $2,000 or $2,500 per sack. Well, he has 12 sacks already, 13 now. Multiply that times 2,500.
Wilson, 5 of 15 for the day. 3rd and 22. Into the flat. This is not going to go very far. It does go to the 24-yard line. Wayne Wilson trying to wiggle his way, and Lyle Alzado combines with Rod Martin to make the stop, and the Raiders want timeout to kill the clock with 2:11 to go in the half.
Lyle Alzado, 77. I've played against him for so many years. When he was in Cleveland, I said, "You're not playing in L.A. like you played in Cleveland." He said, "In Cleveland, Terry, they wanted us to sit and read, and in L.A. they just turn us loose and let us play football." I said, "Well, I'm glad to hear that." I said, "What is the difference, Lyle, in coming to Los Angeles and playing for Al Davis and the Raiders as opposed to playing in Denver or in Cleveland?" And you know what he told me? They let you be a man. I could have told him he was, in my eyes, always a man.
A long time ago.
A big man.
Now, you're not going to tell me he never sacked you.
He did sack me, and you heard me tell him this yesterday that I hated it because he would sack me, and this big, massive guy, my brother Gary, looked at it and said, "Gee, I have never seen anybody with those kind of biceps." And I said, "Man, you ought to get a good look at them when they're wailing away at you." But he used to tackle me, and then he'd help me up and say, "Oh, Terry, are you okay? I hope you're all right. Here, let me get that mud off your face mask."
Mr. Bradshaw.
Mr. Bradshaw, yes.
Here's a list of some of those. This is a partial list of some of those who have been lost by the Saints. Kelvin Clark, Goodlow, Edelman, Gary, Court, Kovach, Derlin Moore, Dennis Winston. The man who is not on there is Kenny Duckett. He was on injured reserve, but then brought back this week. But they had 9 starters who have been lost to injury at one time or another this season. Steve Court said yesterday he's with the team on the trip. He thinks he'll be ready to come back in a couple of weeks.
He figures 4 weeks. He starts practicing with the team next week, and he should be able to be activated, I guess, in 4 weeks. Kelvin Clark, of course, their fine guard, he's out for the year with an ankle injury and had to be operated on. And
surprised by Dennis Winston's decision to
yes, I
retire?
was. Dirk Winston elected to retire.
Brian Hansen on the punt on 4th down. Fulton Walker waits for it.
A dandy.
That is a good kick. Walker will have a chance. No, he will not have a chance to return it.
And you got your basic clip right up the back.
A lot of folks saw it. That was a 50-yard kick.
Oh, that was clear from way up here.
And way up here is way up here.
Way up, that's right.
We're back a ways.
We are on oxygen. We're so high.
Given the history of this place, I thought Babe Didrikson Zaharias was running there for a while. It's that far away.
You lost me there, Vern.
32 Olympic Games.
Oh, when you say that, you lost a lot of folks out there besides myself.
I know. I usually do.
It's clipping. We've got a clipping here. I'm waiting to find out.
We have an invalid fair catch signal. We have an illegal block in the back. Invalid catch signal will be declined, and the illegal block in the back will be accepted.
Very concise explanation. This is the new rule where you've got to wave your arm from left to right. He simply went by the old rule and held his hand up.
Last year, of course, when you stick your hand up like that, that's fair catch, everybody. And as it did, the Saints got around him and let him make the catch. But now you have to wave that baby and say hello to the world, or else you get a penalty, and that's exactly what happened that time.
Well, with 2:03, it's all been straightened out, and now the Raiders have the ball at their own 15-yard line. Backs are in the eye. Mark Wilson to Marcus Allen. Good run. Across the 20 to the 23. And Frank Warren, who is in at nose tackle now, made the stop. 2-minute warning. Good ball game. Raiders lead it 14-7. encounter between the Los Angeles Raiders and the New Orleans Saints. We mentioned we were way back up there, and there is way back up there. First down, Marcus Allen, huge hole, first down at the 35. Terry Hogue, number 24, made the tackle. Allen has now run for 62 yards on 13 carries, had 126 last week in the win over Kansas City. Quickly without a huddle on 1st and 10, Wilson back, lobs it across the middle, caught. Frank Hawkins in the arms of Glenn Red. And Wilson will hurry and again go without the huddle, calls the play at the line. 1:25 to go first half, 14-7. Sideline pattern, which Hawkins drops. And Ricky Jackson was hovering nearby.
Questions, excuse me, Vern. Time and time again, people are often asking, why are they able to move when they go into hurry-up offense? Why are people able to run up and down the football field? And it's now, it appears that Wilson's coming out with a lot of confidence, run a little play with Marcus, throw over there, throw over here, and move it up and down. And defense has just changed. They just don't want to give big plays. They give you little ones. They don't want to give you big ones.
Wilson is now 5 out of 15 for only 37 yards. Third down and 4. Four-man rush. Wilson in the grasp of tacklers gets rid of it to Dokie Williams. And that's a first down at the New Orleans 44-yard line. And the Raiders will use one of their remaining timeouts. Terry Hogue and Glenn Red make the stop, but that's a 17-yard gain on 3rd and 4. Mark Wilson had something interesting to say to you about his confidence level and how it goes up and down week to week.
Well, we were talking, as most quarterbacks do, and about theories and philosophy of the Steelers as opposed to the Raiders. And I said, you know, one of the things that happened to me, Mark, was that I would lose my confidence for maybe a game, 2 games, or 3 games, then gain it back, and then I probably wouldn't lose it anymore that year. I said, how about yourself? He said, Terry, my confidence goes and comes with each pass. And he meant that. He really meant that. If I complete it, I feel good and high, and if I'm incomplete with one, then I kind of get down. And the concern with the Raiders, I think, on behalf of Mark Wilson, is the fact that they would like to see his confidence get at a high level. They are higher on him than I think probably he is on himself.
Al Davis is very high on him, is he not?
Well, he loves him. He said the guy can throw all passes. Tom Flores told me, he said, I like him because he can throw the short pass, he can throw the sideline, the post, and he said it's not a quick arm, but it is a strong arm that gets it there.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. 1:10 to go in the half. Raiders 1st and 10 with a 14-7 lead. They operate from the 43-yard line. Rush coming. Bruce Clark right in Wilson's face, and he lobs it over to the sideline.
Did you? Clark that time was right on Wilson. Could have gotten him for the sack, but stopped, threw his hands straight up in the air and held back, said, no, baby, not this time. You're not going to get me for roughing the quarterback. But he was just as effective in doing this as he would have been earlier when he threw him down to the ground. See, now watch it. What? No, babe, no. I'm off. And he backs away from it.
Well, if you were with us at the top of the telecast, you saw the tease where Bruce Clark leveled Ron Heller of Tampa Bay, so he can get mean. 2nd down and 10. 1:06 to go in the half. Wilson will be sacked at the 48-yard line.
Bruce Clark again. You know, it very well could have been that the Tampa game, when he came in and decked Heller, could have been the start of a tradition with the Saints, because I have never seen a football team change so drastically with their attitude. As the Saints linemen and linebackers, the way they're aggressive, going after the quarterback, pounding on people. Literally, as I told you earlier, just nasty about the way they're playing. And as bad a word as that is to use, that is exactly the way you have to play down there. Even as a quarterback, you have to be nasty.
No,
I was a nasty quarterback.
Were you really?
Sure I was.
You're not a nasty broadcaster.
Some said I was.
Not tall. 42 seconds to go in the half. Mark Wilson looking on.
We were talking earlier about that little Tom Matte wristband which has all the plays. I said, what are the problems with it? He said, well, Terry, we have 150 plays typed, and you need 10 power vision to see them. And how they do it is, Wilson, you see it on his left wrist there, folks. They'll send in the formation. And, the situation is designed. And then when he sees the situation, they will throw a hand up of 5, 6, or 7, or whatever. He'll look at that situation that they gave him, find that number, and he says, whoop, there's the play, and he'll call the play. It's amazing. Or they'll send it in with Jim Smith.
Did that kind of thing ever, do you ever use one of those?
It did, but I was nearsighted, didn't know it, I couldn't read them. So that's how come I always called my plays. There's a good shot of the wrist. And besides, back when I played in college, and that's when most of the kids wore them, quarterbacks that is, we played in a lot of rain, and shoot, one good splat in the mud, and you couldn't read it anyway, and I'd take it off and throw it away.
42 seconds to go in the first half. 3rd and 21. Wilson caught. Dokie Williams will be way short of the first down at the 44-yard line, and Johnny Poe, number 25, knocks him out of bounds. That'll bring up a 4th down with 34 seconds to go in the half. Poe had that interception return for a touchdown last week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
The corners for the Saints had problems in the first 2 games, but last week Poe picks off 1, goes 30 yards. Waymer picks off 3, and the cornerbacks for the Saints, I say, are playing as well as the cornerbacks for the Raiders.
We were in Denver 2nd week of the season, and Butch Johnson and John Elway told us prior to that game that they thought that Waymer and Poe were the equal of Haynes and Hayes of Oakland. Now it's my turn of Los Angeles. It's 1-1 here in the booth. That kick is out of bounds and will be marked. How about that at the 3-yard line? A 41-yard kick for Ray Guy. And the Saints will try and kill the remaining 26 seconds of what has been a very long first half.
You made the mistake a while ago. There's Bum Phillips. Got to be pleased with the effort his football team is displaying today. Getting down early, 14-0, then coming back with the big plays, open up their offense a little bit, and got the big passes with Guido Merkins making a big catch in the corner, beating Haynes. One of a kind. And there's not another one, and probably won't be like Bum Phillips.
No, sir. And that will be the tactic employed by the Saints. They'll try and let the clock evaporate now, which it will do. As the final 15 seconds of the first half will run down. Raiders scored the first 2 touchdowns, both on runs by Marcus Allen, one of 11 yards and one of 8. Saints came back on a 39-yard toss from Dave Wilson to Guido Merkins. And at halftime, that has narrowed the margin to 14-7. The Los Angeles Raiders leading. So we have reached the end of the first half here in Los Angeles with the Raiders on top. New Orleans Saints 14-7. Los Angeles had jumped out to a 14-0 lead. The Saints came back with a second quarter touchdown to shave that margin to 7 at the half. A fumble recovery at the 40-yard line of an Earl Campbell fumble. This is a fine run, Terry Bradshaw.
Well, he ran right over Bruce Davis, who had been moved from left tackle to right guard. He got a good block. He cut inside of Davis's block and picked up the hole and did the rest on his own.
Marcus Allen also got the second touchdown. It came after a 26-yard punt return by Fulton Walker, and the touchdown came from 8 yards out.
It's exactly the same play. You do it once and it scores. Do it twice, you scores again.
However, New Orleans did come back after an injury to Jeff Groth. They brought on Guido Merkins, and late in the half, Dave Wilson hooked up with Guido Merkins on this 39-yard touchdown toss.
Well, this was an excellent throw, an excellent catch and run by Guido Merkins. Once again, I attribute that to the fact that I don't think that Haynes had as much respect for Guido's speed and hands as he displayed right there.
So it is 14-7 at the half, and really I think things have gone about as you expected they would.
Well, I thought that the Raiders would play a tough football game. I even thought that on the Saints, where they had played, would be very similar to the game they played at the 49ers. But we had said in the broadcast, Vern, that that the Raiders have a way of intimidating you with the silver and black. And this young football team that you said had never played, none of those guys had ever played against the Raiders. I think that may have had an effect. Once they found out they could block and tackle them, then I think they changed and they came out and really played well offensively in the second quarter.
But you really subscribe to that theory that there is an intimidation factor involved when you play Los Angeles.
I know that for a fact. I played against them, and I was intimidated by them. And I've had players of Cliff Harris and other great players around the league that were intimidated by the black and gold in Pittsburgh. It does have its effects on players, especially young players.
Would you expect that Tom Flores is still a little concerned about the evolving elements of his offense?
Well, I think he's concerned the fact that they're not moving the football as consistently as he would like. And the thing he told me, they're having a hard time getting the football deep. He said they're forcing us to throw short, so we're taking it. Plunkett, for example, was averaging just barely 7 yards per attempt as compared to 8.2 over the years. So I think he is concerned, but if he can take it and run the football with Allen and then pick those passes and keep the first downs going, I think he'd be pleased. The thing here is he has not been able to get the drives, the consistency going in his offense that he wants, regardless of whether they're throwing it deep or throwing it short.
Well, is there anything he can do to change that?
You're asking me.
Of
I'm
course
up
I
here.
am. Yeah, but you've been down there. I haven't.
Well, there are a lot of things, I guess, that could change it. Sometimes Guido Merkins makes a great catch. That sparks an offense. I think they need to come out and get, attack, go deep, throw the football down there. This is the Raider football team that over the history has always attacked the corners deep and the deep zones deep. And this football team is saying, well, they're going to take it away, so we're not going to attack it. I think you need to throw deep and throw deep and throw deep, give up the high percentage, and eventually get the confidence back. I don't think they're playing with the kind of confidence that the Raiders of old are used to playing with.
Well, let's see if that happens, because we're just about set for the second half. The Raiders do lead, but only by 7. It's 14-7 at the halftime here in Los Angeles. Week 6 of the 1985 National Football League season. Average gain per attempt passing today, New Orleans 5.7 and Los Angeles only 3.2. Further documentation of the fact that the passing game has not been there. 14-7 is our score, as Bum Phillips' team tries to go for its 4th victory in a row, and they need it if they're going to keep pace with the Los Angeles Rams, who won today, coming from behind to defeat Tampa Bay 31-27. And of course, they are also involved in a chase with the 49ers, who are losing at halftime 16-10 to Chicago. The Raiders need a victory to keep abreast of the other teams in the AFC West, as it's going to be a fight down to the finish, as it usually is.
Well, they've said that the Western Division, AFC West, is the toughest. You can see the halftime stats: yards rushing, 61 Saints, 67 Raiders. Yards passing, 91 for the Saints. It's surprising there, 60 for the Raiders. Total yards, 152 to 127. A lot of that in the closing 2 minutes of the first half on behalf of oh boy, I almost said it, Vern.
Chris Barr will kick off for the Raiders. Willie Tullis, Eric Martin waits for it, and this will be a touchback. And comes out to the 20-yard line, from which point the New Orleans Saints will put it in play to open the third quarter. That starting offensive line, and again, it's a patchwork line. In the Tampa Bay game, New Orleans lost 3 starting linemen, the interior linemen, within the space of 12 minutes. As Court went down, Edelman went down, and Kelvin Clark went down. Now they have Joel Hilgenberg at center, Ralph Williams, Stan Brock, Jim Rourke, and Dave LaFari. Except Darren Gilbert has now come in to tackle on the left side. And New Orleans will open with a double tight end set. First down and 10 from the 20. John Tice in motion.
Up the middle, up the middle!
Wayne Wilson to about the 23. And the word is that Stan Brock has a twisted right ankle and may not be back. Thus the presence of Darren Gilbert in at right tackle.
So Gilbert, number 77, he'll move up in place of Brock, number 67.
Well, that's 3 starters from today's game. Guy Jean, Jeff Groth, and Stan Brock, who are on the bench with injuries. Second down, 7, 14-7 ball game. Wilson hit at the line by Bill Pickell, number 71.
Well, if there's a weakness at all in the Saints offensive line, and I don't want to say this is a weakness, but the fact that Hilgenberg is a much better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. He's a smallish offensive lineman, only 6'2", 250, as compared to Cord, who's 6'3", 265, 270, and bench press is close to 600 pounds. That time, McHale went right around and made the stop.
From the 23, 3rd and 7. Wilson looks left side, fires left side. He's got a man for the first down, the tight end again, Hobie Brenner. And Stacy Turan was there trailing the play and made the catch, but that's a big gain of 24 yards.
We're going to watch one of the premier rushers in the National Football League, number 75, right in the center of your screen, as he's sitting to the right side of Hilgenberg. Now he comes out, now he's clubbing Williams, the right guard, doing a good job, but I'll tell you, Williams did an outstanding job that time, and he won that battle, number 79.
Ralph Williams from the USFL has stepped in and played quite well. First down 10, New Orleans from the 47. Tice starts, comes back. Pitch out. Wayne Wilson carrying the ball on the inside arm, gets around the corner, and finds himself in Raider country at the 45-yard line.
Well, the key to these runs, anytime you can get outside, is cut off to pursuit. Get your ends, your tackles to be able to hook the end, get into them, and turn them back inside. And that time, a good job by Gilbert of engaging, push him inside, and let Wilson get outside.
Wilson now with 7 carries, 33 yards. Earl Campbell 8 carries for 19 yards. Gajan carried 3 times for 11 before he re-injured a hamstring and went to the bench. Second down, 2. Wilson has a first down at the 40-yard line. Van McElroy, number 26, made the tackle. And Matt Millen, who is...
We're going to look at this again as you see Tice come into your screen. This is a play that the Steelers develop where they bring in the 2 tight ends on that side. Then he goes in motion, comes down inside, and he double teams Piquel, and then Wilson cuts up inside for the first down. We used that play against the Cowboys, Burns, for the first time in Super Bowl, what was it, 10?
Mm-hmm. Randy Grossman, wasn't it?
Well, that was the play action off of it.
That's right. First down and 10. Tice starts in motion. Wilson darts, comes back into the inside, and is down to the 37-yard line before Lyle Alzado made the tackle. And on that last play, Stan Brock came back into the offensive line for New Orleans, and Darren Gilbert went out. So Brock, number 67, all 6'6", 290 pounds of him, is back in there.
Raiders are one of the largest teams, both offensively and defensively, that I've ever had the pleasure, I guess you could say, of playing against. They are huge people, and Davis says, I like big people.
Wouldn't like Randy Newman then, huh?
No.
Second down and 7. Deep, one-handed grab, dropped. Looked like Eric Martin had it, and then it looked like John Tice might get it.
I actually thought for a moment that Tice, number 82, took the ball out of Martin's hands. I thought Martin had the one-handed grab, and then all of a sudden in comes Tice, who tips the ball away. Let's see if we can pick up. Now, you're going to see Martin in the top of your screen, 84, as he's being bumped by Haynes. Now, he comes in. Now, there's the catch. I thought he had a catch, but he did not. I see Mike Davis, number 36, came in and stripped it away. Now, wouldn't that have been something, had Tice taken the ball out of Martin's hands?
Mine. 3rd and 7. 14-7 ball game. Opening moments, 3rd quarter. 11:57 to go. Play fake. Wilson lobs it out across the middle. First down. Hobie Brenner again. They are roommates, as Terry said, and he does have an inclination to look first for Brenner, doesn't he?
Well, King Hill, the offensive coordinator for the Saints, told me, he said, you know, if we've got one problem with Dave, and he wasn't complaining. He said, but if he has a problem, he said, his roommates, Hobie Brenner, he might look to him a little bit too often, but that time they little play action, held the linebackers, and then they got Hobie past the linebacker, popped him with the ball for the first down.
Larry Hardy comes in as an extra tight end. First down at the 26-yard line. 14-7, Los Angeles leads. Incomplete. Caught it off the ground. Eric Martin. And I think he was an illegal receiver anyway. It looked like he had gone out of bounds and come back in.
Well, if you can get away with it and don't get caught, then you're not illegal, right?
That's right. Unfortunately, he got caught that time. So it would not have been a legal catch had it been made.
I've eaten a lot of illegal watermelons over my time. But they weren't illegal because I never got caught.
Now we're getting the truth in the adolescent years. Wilson, as you saw, 8 out of 20 will throw on a quick count. Blitz is coming. He fires it out. It's caught at the 19-yard line by Larry Hardy. That is short of the first down.
Mike Davis once again on the stop. No, that was Van McElroy.
Who shares a hobby of yours, cutting horses.
Well, he's there's number 26, their fine all-pro safety out of Baylor. He likes to ride those cutting horses. Of course, I have a horse farm in Louisiana, and we got talking about horses the other day, and he said that Walter Abercrombie of the Steelers and he were in business together on some horses, which was very interesting.
Matter of fact, you named a horse you own after the Raiders, didn't you?
I sure did. I've got a great young colt named Pride and Poise.
Third down. Wilson. That's going to be close. I'm a little curious as to why you didn't name a horse after the Steelers.
Well, I did. I did. I named a horse after the Steelers and called him Impressive Steeler. And then I sold him. He wasn't good enough for me, so I sold him to a guy. And then I raised this young colt, and I couldn't think of a name, but he was out of a horse called Impressive Poise. And so I said, what's a good name for that? And I got to thinking of Al Davis and how he used to try to trade for me all the time, so I thought I'd do him an honor by naming this great young colt after their motto, Pride and Poise. Kind of neat, I thought.
It is. Let's see if they got enough for the first down.
Short.
Nope. 4th and 1.
What do you do, Coach? Not that one. You sit next to me here.
I go for it.
I'd go for it too.
Let's see.
But no, Bum's
Nope.
going for the field goal. I would. I'd go for it. Your defense is playing well, so you don't make it. Your defense is playing well. You'll get the ball back, maybe in good field position. But I tend to agree with you there. I'd go for it.
Guido Merkins will hold, and they do have a fake field goal in the artillery, but they will not use it this time. And Morton Anderson kicks it through. So the lead is shaved to only 4. The Saints open the third quarter with a nice drive, and they get the field goal from 12 plays, and settling for a field goal from Morton Anderson. And I really thought, given the fact they're going after their 4th straight win, they might go for the first down there.
Well, I kind of agree with you. I think I would have gone for it, but Bum Phillips felt like he was better off getting 3 points with one of the best kickers in the league, and so he decided that's the thing to do, and he did it, and so we'll all live with that.
And indeed, Los Angeles has not moved the ball well at all today against a suddenly tenacious New Orleans defense. Coming up next Sunday on CBS Sports, some of you will watch the Saints as they travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons in an NFC West encounter. Others of you will see Dallas versus Philadelphia. Terry and I will be up in Philadelphia to broadcast that game. And it all begins with the NFL today. Check the local listings for the game to be seen in your area.
Cowboys won today.
Yes, they did. Philadelphia won today.
Philadelphia won big. Surprisingly, I would have never figured that, to beat a good Cardinal team I picked to go to the Super Bowl.
First down and 10. Allen comes left and finds nothing there.
Good job that time by Whitney Paul, 51, as he stood up the outside blocker, stood him up, and they couldn't get any movement on him at all. And then a pursuit back from the inside by the Saints. As you look at Jackson, 57, caught up with Allen and made the stop. Whitney
Terry,
Paul.
let's talk just a little bit about that opening drive of New Orleans. Do you subscribe to the theory that games are really won in the third quarter?
Well,
How important is the third quarter in the contest?
Well, I think the third quarter is an important quarter, especially if you have one team that's got to change momentum and one team's trying to hold on to it. Third quarter can be the drastic turning point in a game, only with a point of momentum. We'll get to it more in a minute.
Second down and 9. Wilson back with time. Across the middle, man wide open, Marcus Allen. Watch him roam in the country. So much for momentum. Johnny Poe and Glenn Redd save it after a 44-yard gain.
Just a great effort this time by the quarterback Wilson and also running back Allen. He's a simple option route. Mark moves outside of the pocket to give him some time, And then here comes Allen as he comes underneath after beating Jackson, and then he just does an outstanding job of running down the field. Good downfield blocking. Also, Hawkins coming down there trying to help him out.
Marcus Allen with 68 yards on the ground now. First down 10 from the 35. 14-10 Raiders lead. Allen again at right tackle for 2. As Glenn Red, number 58, made the stop.
Sometimes football teams, you were talking about momentum in the third quarter. If you're behind and have not played well, and especially if you are one of the teams that everyone is figuring you should win, and you in your own heart believe you're going to win, it's important you capture momentum in the third quarter. If not, more than likely you're done for. So the third quarter is very important in that aspect, as well as it is to hold on to the lead. But games are won when? Fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter. Second down and 8. 14-10. And there's a problem.
Total offense for the Raiders, 172. Marcus Allen has 114 of that.
I'd say they need him. And right now, Mark Wilson has called timeout. And we'll come over and chat with Tom Flores as Bum Phillips looks on. His team trails by 4, 14-10. Third quarter, second down 8. Los Angeles has the ball. Wilson back to throw under pressure and flips it out in front of his intended receiver, Doki Williams. Alvin Tolles, number 54, the rookie linebacker from Tennessee, was defending. Mark Wilson not having a great day. There's Marcus Allen. When did you first meet him?
Well, you're not going to believe this, but I met Marcus Allen when he was a senior in high school down in San Diego. We were down there to play the Chargers, the Steelers that is, and we were going to get on the bus, and this young man came and said, Mr. Bradshaw, Mr. Bradshaw. I said, yes, sir. He said, I'm Marcus Allen. I said, how you doing? He said, yeah, I'm going to USC. I've signed a scholarship. I said, well, that's great. He said, yeah, I'm going to be an All-American running back up. I said, well, that's just great, son. Well, he went on to win the Heisman, and now he's one of the premier running backs.
Did he call you Mr. Bradshaw down in the field before the game?
Not hardly.
Wilson chased, dropped at the 30. It'll be fourth down. Bruce Clark made the tackle. Wilson did pick up a couple of yards. It's not a sack, but we will now see Chris Barr. And Bruce Clark is still down. Like he might have gotten the wind knocked out of him.
Well, 75 for the Raiders. Howie Long, coming into this football game, was the man that everyone talked about, feared the most. Double team, all in magazine covers. Got the haircut from Schwarzenegger. Yeah, thank you on that. A little help there. But 75 for the Saints, playing the same spot at defensive end, has been the most devastating player on this football field today. Let's watch it again if we can see what happened to Bruce. Big guy like that probably fell on the ground, knocked the breath out of himself. He's chasing. I can see right now what's going to happen. He's going to land on the ankle, comes up, falls back down on his ankles, and knocked the wind out of him.
He will have to leave the field for one play, but apparently he's going to be okay.
He's played a heck of a game so far, and we still got a long way to go with 7:03 remaining in the third quarter. Isn't it amazing how these guys can run into walls and blockers and tacklers and then fall on a little football or a little ankle and get the wind knocked out of them?
And nothing hurts worse.
No, sir.
Chris Barr, this will be from 48 yards away. Plenty of distance, but not accurate. Wide to the left.
Well, now we go back to the fourth down, and Bum's decision to kick for the field goal. Got the field goal. Now they turn around. They're going to get good field position on their own 30-yard line. Let's watch Barr's reaction as he knows. A kicker knows, and he knows right now before the officials has ever given any indication, good or bad, that he knows. You can watch the kicker and tell. Tough life, those kickers. We've been 4 or 5 games already this year. We've seen a lot of reactions that are very similar to that one.
Now the Saints get it back, trailing by 4. The ball at their own 31. Gajan on the bench with a hamstring. Dave Wilson gets good protection. Fires it out in the flat.
Good job.
Caught by John Tice at the 40-yard line.
Another one of those misdirection plays. When you have a football team, Vern, that pursues as well as the Raiders do, it's good to come out and fake one way, get the linebackers frozen that way where you can get the blockers in and set your blockers up to block them, then get the quarterback out wide, which gets him away from the rush, and that's what Wilson did. Tice got out there and got open.
Just short of the first down. We've got 6:36 to go, third quarter. 14-10, Los Angeles leads. Double tight end set again. Tice right, Brenner left. Wayne Wilson looks for room, tries to get to the outside, and he's going to be close for the first down at the 41. Looks like he might have come up a couple of feet short. We'll see. Earl Campbell started the game, has not played in the second half. It's been all Wayne Wilson in the backfield.
There's number 53, Rod Martin. For a linebacker, and with the attitude that linebackers have to have the play of the game to not only make tackles and stop the run, but also to cover speedy running backs. I think this guy probably does it as well as anyone coming out of California, USC.
Wilson did get the first down for the Saints. They trail by 4. Hand off. Wilson tries to circle outside, manages to do that, and a fine run. He was kind of lost in the shuffle a year ago, Terry, after he had that great year a couple of seasons back, but with George Rogers and Campbell coming in last year, people tended to forget about Wayne Wilson.
Well, he had 3 games where he rushed for over 100 yards. I'm talking big yardage. And it's a natural thing for a coach to bring in a Rogers and run a guy that won the Heisman, and then bring in another one in Campbell, and to forget about a guy who probably not as much talent, but just as big a heart.
Second down, 5. 14-10, Los Angeles leads midway through the third quarter. Eric Martin in motion. Draw play. Wayne Wilson, perfect call. And Wilson has a first down at the Los Angeles 43-yard line. Van McElroy made the tackle. Out of tiny Shepherd College. 58 yards on 13 carries so far.
He certainly has played a good game. He's carried the football. He's run the football smartly, and I think the calling of the plays where they're utilizing his speed, because he's more of a pick 'em, get him out wide, let him cut and find his whole sweep, and he's doing a good job of that, and they're calling good plays for him.
First down, 10, 14-10 game. 4-man line for the Raiders again. Wilson stands strong, fires deep. Ball is incomplete at the 19-yard line, intended for Brenner, and Reggie McKenzie was there. Well,
McKenzie dropped deep. He had tight end. Tight end was his responsibility. Number 54, the rookie out of Tennessee. That was his responsibility. Now, when Wilson came out, when Dave came out with his play action, he immediately went to Wilson, and by doing so, off on the left corner, all by himself, Guido Merkins. I mean, no one around him. And that's one of the problems maybe they were talking to, that he looks to Brenner maybe a little too much, but hey, Brenner's made some big catches.
Second and 10. 4:59 to go. Quick count, draw play, flag is down. Wilson is loose if the play stands up. And finally is tackled at 32. Now let's see what the infraction is, as Stacy Turan, number 30, made the stop.
Illegal procedure, not set.
They went on 2 quick accounts.
I want you to watch 30 Wilson. I know we have a penalty in this, but I want you hear about Campbell's strength. You hear about all the big fullbacks and the power they have. And watch him, he dips outside. Now he turns on the speed and turns it up and runs right into 54 McKenzie. Now 54 McKenzie is a big, strong linebacker, 6'3", 240 pounds, and this man put him right on his back.
Unfortunately, the play was called back. Unfortunate if you're a New Orleans fan. It's second down and 15. 14-10, Raiders lead it. 2 wide receivers right side. Wilson hit as he lets it go. Incomplete. Looked like a volleyball player diving to dig one out of the ground. And it'll be 3rd and 15.
Wilson had no chance at all that time to get that pass off. One of the funny things, when a lineman comes off and gets hit and spun around, as Delfari unfortunately had happened to him that time by Lyle Alzado, he actually was blocking Alzado with his back, backing into him like this, like a, I don't know what you call it, but he actually blocked him with his back, trying to keep him away from Wilson, but unfortunately he didn't do a good enough job of it.
And that sets up a 3rd and 15 from the 48-yard line. Guido Merkins in motion. Into the flat it goes for Tyrone Anthony, who's going to be caught and dropped after a gain of 1 by Rod Martin, the linebacker, who was never fooled. It'll be 4th down. And Brian Hansen comes on. What a distinguished career he has had now in his 9th year from Southern Cal.
When you ask yourself sometimes why are the Raiders so successful, and going over this game with the players, you know what I noticed? There are so many players here from California, and when you talk to them, every one of them, what? They're happy. They're home. They're happy.
Yeah, that is a good point. Not a bad place to live, is it?
Not bad. Next to Texas, it's not bad.
Hansen goes for the left corner. Fulton Walker is down there. Will let it go, and
Beautiful.
what a kick.
Beautiful kick.
That's at the 2-yard line. And Morton Anderson is the first man out to congratulate Brian Hansen after that 44-yard punt in the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Vern Lundquist along with Terry Bradshaw. The Raiders lead New Orleans 14-10, but they have been pinned at their own 2-yard line after the excellent kick by Brian Hansen. Charlie Hanna, number 73. Shelby Jordan comes out. Mark Wilson, number 6, has his backs in the eye. Quick count. Marcus Allen squirts to the 6-yard line. Fine run of 4 yards. Johnny Poe came up to help on the tackle, number 25. And Frank Watlet was also there. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 6.
We're going to look at this again from the end zone. As you see Allen take the snap, Wilson's going to turn around and hand the ball off deep in the eye to Allen. Now watch 54 red. Now right there. Now that's a 2-yard gain, but the thing that's impressive about that was a quick decision in the feet that Allen had.
Now he tries to get to the outside, and he breaks a tackle of Ricky Jackson, and Terry Hogue knocks him out of bounds right at the 11-yard line.
If you had let me ask you something. If you had a choice of a running back that had quick feet or speed, which would you take?
I'd like them both, thank you.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm trying to be diplomatic.
I know you are.
I'm trying to guess where you're going with this. Would you rather have the quick feet?
Yes, I think I would, yes. Quick feet avoids a lot of tackles, and they pick up the solid, steady yards and the exciting yards. They may not get you the 80-yard runs, but I think they will always outperform a speed burner, although O.J. probably was the guy that had both.
Had both. He's the guy I was thinking about.
Well, he's one of a million.
I know that. 3rd and 1. Up on top, and it looks like he got enough for the 1st down. Yes. As that time he became a hurdler and picks up a 1st down. There is Al Davis, managing general partner of the Raiders and a close friend of yours. I understand he tried to trade for you one time.
I came into his locker room after we had played him, and I asked him to trade for me, and he said he would, that he wanted me, and he tried to trade for me, and the Steelers wouldn't release him. Then he told Chuck Noll, he said, if you're going to keep him, you ought to play him. And he said, I should have never told Chuck Noll that. He would have probably ended up letting me have you later on.
1st down, up the middle for just a couple. Marcus Allen again. And Glenn Redd made the tackle, number 58. Raiders' last 4 possessions, punt, and missed field goal, and they have picked up 1 1st down in this drive. They started at the 2, and they've not had good field position in any of those last 4 possessions. 2:10 to go, 3rd quarter, 14-10. Los Angeles leads it over New Orleans. 2nd down, 5. Marcus coming to the left side. There's a flag in the backfield as Allen is stripped of the ball and goes flying out of bounds. Whitney Paul was over there to make the tackle.
Well, they're booing because they tackled Marcus out of bounds, but that really wasn't a clear case of tackling him out of bounds. They were pursuing him. He was moving, bouncing out, and they finally got a hold of him right when he was outside of the boundaries. It wasn't one of those things where they'll be throwing flags for that, and they didn't.
Penalty is a face mask call against the Raiders. So the option resting with New Orleans.
Well, I would back them up. I mean, let's put them in the hole. We had them in the 2, and they've gotten out this far, but let's move them on back some more. They're not throwing the football that well. We've got a lot of pressure on Wilson so far. Only thing that's happened is Allen's broken
Face
loose.
mask, 5 yards, number 27, declined, 3rd down.
They're not listening.
Okay, let's look at this play out of bounds. Now, Allen is outside, and he's free. Hogue's there. Red's there. Now they're just, Whitney Paul is there. They're just all trying to grab a hold. I saw no flagrance in that at all. How about you?
Nope. I agree. 3rd and 7. 14-10. Raiders lead it. Todd Christensen comes to the left side. Two wide receivers wide right. See if the Saints might blitz on 3rd and 7. No, sir. Wilson has to hurry. Gets rid of it. First down.
Outstanding grab that time. Outstanding.
Whitney Paul trying to wrestle Marcus Allen for the ball, but Allen maintains possession and picks up the first down.
Not only can the man run, can he block? He blocked 2 years for Charles White at USC, but he does this as well as anyone out of the backfield. Catches a pass that I'm telling you right now, very few people can catch. That's amazing that he was even able to get himself up off the ground and go back into the huddle.
Had a 44-yard catch earlier, that one for 12, 1:11 to go, 3rd quarter, and a big first down for the Raiders at their own 28-yard line. Dokie Williams in motion, and Wilson with time this time. Lobs it deep, man is open, overthrown. It was Dokie Williams, the intended receiver.
Wide open that time, and Mark just missed him. Wilson just threw the football too far over his head, lit him too far outside. And they got an incompletion. Got some scores coming up here.
Still 16-10 Chicago in the 4th quarter. It was that way at halftime. Seattle leads Atlanta by 5 in the 4th quarter, 14-9. Excuse me. Kansas City over San Diego by 3, also in the 4th quarter. We are a minute away from the 4th quarter here. 14-10. Los Angeles hangs on to the lead. They've got a 2nd and 10 right now. Jim Smith in motion. Pitch out. Fumble. Scramble. Saints have the football at the 24-yard line.
Tony Elliott, number 99, nose tackle, penetrating that time, getting around Mosbar and getting up in there and making the fumble recovery. Now Elliott in the center of your screen, Mosbar pulls downfield, and I'll tell you what, nothing happened there. Allen just dropped the football.
Sure did.
He just flat dropped the football.
Saints now lead in turnovers 2-1. And they've got a first down at the Los Angeles 24-yard line with 54 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Now your killer instinct has to take over. You have to get something. You need a touchdown here.
New Orleans going after a franchise record 4th win in a row. They've never done it in 19 years. Reverse, fake. Tyrone Anthony going left, gets a block from Wilson, and is spilled at the 16-yard line. Young man now in his 2nd year out of North Carolina, 5'11", 212.
Sweeps and reverses. When you run a lot of sweeps one side and you find out someone says, hey, you know, they got their linebackers, boy, they're really chasing. 53 Martin's chasing, the end is chasing, everybody's chasing. Then you come back with reverses. That time they had the reverse on, a fake reverse actually. Kept it, went outside. A good decision on behalf of Tyrone Anthony.
2nd down and 2, 17 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. This could be the final play of the quarter. Tice in motion. Wilson looks for blocks and is brought down short of the first down at the 15-yard line. Tackle is made by Jeff Barnes, number 56. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter of play. It's a tight one, 14-10. Quarter in this encounter between the Raiders of LA and the New Orleans Saints. Los Angeles leading 14-10. I'm Vern Lundquist with Terry Bradshaw. Tom Flores was very complimentary about the Saints in the conversation we had with him yesterday.
Well, yes, he was, Vern. He said, I asked him, I said, what's the difference in them? He said, well, Terry, this football team now is not going to give up. They look like on the film that they're determined to make things happen, and they believe in themselves, and it changed in the 49ers when they beat them in San Francisco.
They have a 3rd and 1 to open the 4th quarter. Larry Hardy starts in motion. Wayne Wilson stopped short. I don't think Bum Phillips has any option now. He's got to go for it on 4th and 1. Do you think?
Well, we're talking 14-50. We just started the 4th quarter. His football team has moved the football well. I think he'll kick a field goal.
By golly, you're right. You also looked down there and saw Morton Anderson running on the field.
Oh, no, Vern, I would never do that. I gave you my honest to goodness opinion that time.
Wrong. Butterball, Brett. Anderson will kick it on 4th and 1. Now, Guido Merkins is the holder.
Butterball.
Guido Merkins the hold.
And they do have the fake in the option, but they don't use it. Here's Anderson's kick. It's good.
Well, we said it would be close. 14-13, outside of tying this baby up. You can't get much closer than this.
So for the second time in this half, with a 4th and 1 inside the 30, the Saints have gone for the field goal, and they get it. Coming up tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, Crazy Like a Fox, and Trapper John M.D. That's all coming up tonight on CBS. Lester Hayes.
What an interesting guy this. I've never really had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Lester naturally as a player, but talking to him on the sideline, you and I had we learned quite a bit about this guy. Number one, he goes back to 1978, drug out all this Oiler film and studied it and said, Bum doesn't change. I believe there's something there I might be able to pick off, Terry. I really believe there's something I can pick off. And I said, are you still superstitious? My gosh. He had his chin strap that he's wearing today is 1967. That's how long he's had it, Vern. He's got some pants on. It looks like you want to give him money so he'll go out and buy some more pants. They are so raggedy. The old Raider practice pants. What else did he have on?
Well, he's got a forearm pad from 67 that he wears. He said, I'm not about to change.
His helmet?
He admits he's superstitious. Most players won't.
Not only that, pickle pig's feet night before every game. Now, you know, that's one superstition I believe I'd have to get rid of.
Said he can't change. Were you superstitious?
No, I'm not superstitious. No, I'm really not.
Weren't you?
Well, I guess I was. Now that you cornered me, I used to do some things that would probably indicate that I was a little superstitious, but they always backfired. I didn't always play well. You know, I normally played well in a pair of shoes. I wore them, then I'd throw 5 interceptions into the can. They went. But maybe I had a few things.
Here's the kick by Morton Anderson. 14-13 ball game. Touchback.
Figuring out the Cardinal team, because I really believe that the Cardinal team with a little bit of improvement in their defense would have been a team that I thought could go all the way to the Super Bowl. That hasn't this year. They have not played so far up to their potential.
Raiders haven't moved the ball with the exception of one big pass play here in this half to Marcus Allen. Mark Wilson will hand it off to Marcus Allen, and he's caught after a gain of 3 yards.
Good job that time by Henry Lawrence, number 70 right tackle, as he penetrated and blew his man down inside and gave Allen the opportunity to cut outside. There's big Henry Lawrence. You know, these folks, as they watch these games, they can't really appreciate the size of these Raiders until you go down on the field and get next to these guys. We're talking 6'7", 275 to 80 pounds per lineman. I'm talking big now.
Well, Henry Lawrence, Terry, is 6'4", and he's the shortest by just a couple of inches of anybody up front. Here's Wilson back to throw on second down. Across the middle. Is it caught? Looks like it.
Dokie Williams.
Yes, sir. Alvin Tolles and Frank Wadlett battling for the ball, but they couldn't get there, and Williams makes the catch.
He was a 55-foot, 2-inch triple jump guy, and he had to get down low on the ground that time to make that grab.
First down 10 at the 35.
It's amazing how these things just roll off my tongue, isn't it?
All that homework. 12:55 to go in the ball game. 14-13. And Marcus Allen gets the handoff, and Ricky Jackson, who has not been mentioned that much today, makes the tackle up on top with Alvin Tolles' help.
Ricky Jackson actually is the type of player that is best in pursuit. When you're blitzing him and when he is chasing because of his great speed, then that's when Ricky Jackson is at his best. Now, that doesn't mean when you run at him, he won't make tackles, but his forte is chasing.
San Diego back on top of Kansas City by 4 in the fourth quarter. And Chicago's lead is now 9 over San Francisco. Mark Wilson looks deep right side, fires deep right side, tipped away. And again, he had a man open, Dokie Williams, and Dave Waymer tipped it away.
Bad throw this time by Mark.
Terry, I want to go back to those 2 decisions that Bum made to not go for it on 4th and 1 and instead settle for the field goal. Could he have in mind that New Orleans is not moving the ball, And he's counting on his defense to get the ball back and come back downfield.
That the Raiders are not moving.
That's what I mean.
His defense is playing so well, and his offense is doing enough to get him in field goal territory. I believe that's what he's thinking. My defense is playing well. They are not throwing the football that well, and we'll just go ahead and settle for the field goal and win it with a field goal.
Well, it's 3rd and 7 now with 12-12 to go in the game. Stunts by the Saints front 4. Wilson has a man in his face as he lets it go, and it's tipped away this time by Frank Wadley. The intended receiver, Jesse Hester, and Johnny Poe looked like he was waiting on it, and he and Wadley are going to talk about it now. But it will be 4th down.
That was a pass once again. The previous play, he had his man open, threw it behind him. That time, he forced that football in there. There was no way that pass could have been completed without some interference or deflections and that type of thing. And just a poor decision that time on behalf of Mark.
Ray Guy on the kick. Eric Martin back at the 15-yard line. No pressure at all.
Mercy.
Martin at the 14. Fair catch. We'll return to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum after this word from your local station. 133 yards. He's talking it over with Tom Flores on the sideline as his defensive teammates have taken the field now. Saints have the ball, 1st and 10, trailing by 1, 14-13. And Dave Wilson for the Saints is also 10 of 25 for 156 yards. 3 wide receiver set, Tyrone Anthony in the backfield, and Kenny Duckett has made an appearance in the lineup. Long count, flag is down. Hand off for a couple to Wayne
Offside.
Wilson. May have been Howie Long who jumped number 75. Let's see if that's the call.
Offside, number 75.
Good eyes, Vern.
Even I could see that one.
1st down.
1st and 5. 14-13. It was 14-7 at the half.
Howie Long, you know, it's interesting for the fans out there that are Raider fans and Howie Long fans that Tom Flores said he would have made an outstanding offensive lineman, especially at tackle because of his build, his long torso, which I found kind of interesting.
1st down 5, and David Rackley has come in, listed as a cornerback, but he's into the wide receiver spot. There's the quick pitch out to Rackley, and the ball is incomplete. I wonder if they didn't have a gadget play of some sort.
They had a gadget pass on. They were going to come out, throw the ball. Now for Rackley to have the opportunity to throw it downfield, he would have had to gone back, and it would have had to have been a lateral. In that case, it was not. They had the 2 other outside receivers sprinting across the field, so it definitely was a gadget pass. It just backfired.
He's a cornerback, and all of a sudden he came in, and eyes up here went, what? David Rackley, and they tried the gadget play, and it didn't work. Interesting to find out later what they had in mind. Here's Wilson back to play, pass on 2nd down and 5. Man is open, and Brenner does a good job to hang on at the 40-yard line.
Brenner's running routes on this football field like he's played here many times, and I guess he has, coming from USC. But once again, man-to-man coverage. Brenner beats his man. Wilson stands in there and fires the football. 5 for 98 yards. I don't blame him for looking for him. The guy's a great receiver.
That's a gain of 20, and for Hobie Brenner today, his 5th catch for 98 yards. 1st down 10, Saints. They trail 14-13, 10:59 to go in the game.
Raiders have 4 down linemen now called their Raider defense.
Looks like Wilson might be adjusting because of that. Hand off, Wayne Wilson tries to find a crack at right tackle, and he gets only to the 42-yard line.
Historically, playing in the Raiders, the first 3 quarters, you felt one another out, you jabbed, you pushed one another, you slapped, you had a few personal fouls. But, brother, when that 4th quarter came around, and it was 8 minutes and 7 minutes, and the score was only a touchdown or a field goal, everybody was standing up and screaming and hollering. And you talk about intensity, the Raiders have a level of intensity that very few teams can match.
New Orleans trails by 1. 2nd down, 8. Draw play. Didn't quite get it unraveled. Wayne Wilson is caught by Rod Martin. And if he had gotten by Martin, he had about 20 yards.
Well, you're going to see it's kind of interesting how the guards let the tackles fly up the football field. They turn around and give the football to Wilson. It's kind of a sucker draw where they don't block a lot of people. So look at the guards. There you go. Go on by, Lyle. I'll let you go on by. And then they come in on 54, do a good job that time on McKenzie. And then Wilson is brought down by 53 Martin. But it's one of those sucker draws. Let them go, let them penetrate, then right by goes the fullback.
3rd and 4 with 9:35 remaining in the game. Audible at the line, and too much time. 30-second clock expired.
Well, I'm going to say one thing right now, and I won't say it anymore in this game, but had Wilson been calling his own plays, they would not have had that penalty. That's one of the things I disagree with, sending plays in. If you have a quarterback in there that can call those plays, especially
offense, 3rd down.
Especially in a 3rd short yardage, he knows there's only 4 or 5 plays they're going to run. Let him call them. You run the people in there, but let him call them. Get up there and run it. Now you're looking at 3rd and 9, 3rd and 4. It's a lot easier to make, Vern, than 3rd and 9.
And it is 3rd and 9 with 9:15 to go and the clock running. Cornerbacks up on the line in the classic Raider style.
Offside.
Lyle Alzado. Wilson's got a free shot, lobs it out incomplete. And that should get the 5 yards back as Alzado jumped.
You know, really, people have kind of given up on the fact that these quarterbacks can really call these football plays, but I see no reason for delay of games anymore.
Offside, number 77, 3rd down.
Alzado.
Why do you think so many coaches have gone to calling the plays now?
Well, they just feel like they are better prepared because of the hours of film work they do. They're better prepared, and they believe that that takes pressure off the quarterback, but it doesn't. He's sitting out there, and he's wondering, what in the world I'm going to do? If he's calling the plays, he's involved in the game, and he should know from preparation what to do in those situations.
We're back where we started. 3rd and 4.
Fumble. Raiders.
LA's got it.
Reggie McKenzie, 54.
And Howie Long is still on his back. Turnover goes to Los Angeles. 8 minutes, 53 seconds to go in the game. His new do a rub down. How do you like that?
Hey, he likes it, I like it.
I figured. 1st and 10, Raiders. They have a 1-point lead from the 44-yard line, and Wilson will throw. Finds Todd Christensen. That's a 1st down at the 29.
Excellent job by Christensen. Look at Christensen screaming and hollering, and actually turned to the sideline and screaming and hollering to the sideline. I wonder who he was hollering at. Not unlike the other Wilson for the Saints, he too looks for his tight end in crucial situation. He has a lot of confidence in 46. 2 young wide receivers in Williams and Hester. A veteran right here in Christensen, and goes to him.
Well, he was jawing at somebody on that New Orleans bench, or Raider bench, rather. 1st and 10. Marcus Allen coming right. Hit and jammed
Good
at
job
the 30-yard
by
line.
Ricky Jackson, Vern, number 57. Good job that time. Playing off the block and sticking Allen.
Now there's an unusual story developing in baseball. Let's go to New York and Brett. 7:30 to go in the game. 14-13. 2nd down, 11. Flag is down. Wilson across the middle. Incomplete at the 10. Wadlett diving for it. Couldn't hang on. And it was Ricky Jackson who may have tipped the ball, but there is a flag on the play.
Offsides. Raiders.
Interesting decision.
Offside, number 46, declined, 3rd down.
Didn't take him long to make the decision.
One of the things, I want to get back to that play calling thing, just because they've thrown an option route to Allen, they've thrown the tight end passes. The 2nd time they've done it inside the 30-yard line. Had the quarterback, Wilson, been calling his own plays, he more than likely would have gone to a different type of pass, something different, so, that showed them something different. That's where the coaches say, we know what we're doing, we'll call the plays down here. I disagree with that.
3rd and 11 with 7:26 to go in the game. 14-13, LA leads. Wilson has time, has the catch, first down. Dokie Williams at the 17-yard line. Caught it in front of David Waymer.
This is reminiscent of the old Raiders where Williams will drive Waymer off. Good job by the offensive line. Wilson drops back. He knows exactly where he's going. I'm going outside. I'm going to throw on Waymer. There he is. Williams turns him deep, comes back for the football. Good throw, good catch.
Gain of 13, first down, stops the clock with 7:19 to go. Fourth catch of the day for Dokie Williams, who goes wide to the left. Jim Smith is also in the slot to the left-hand side. Now in motion. Marcus Allen struggles inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
Ricky Jackson, another fine tackle. There's an example what we had said earlier where Jackson was best in pursuit, but if you go at him, he does have the ability to make the stop that time. A fine job by Jackson.
2nd and 8.
I always would love to get into a two-wide offense here, put two guys on one side, motion them, find out man or zone, and go deep in the corners. This is always a fun part of the field for a quarterback to be in.
Jackson coming. Wilson throwing. Ball is bobbled and dropped at the 2-yard line.
This is a poor decision on behalf of Wilson. I watched the two wide guys and kept my eyes that time on Christensen, the tight end. Wilson came back looking to the right, planted his right foot, turned and fired right into Christensen. Again, another example of confidence in a guy, whether he's covered or not. Now, sometimes that's good, but you have to go and go over the whole field. This ball very well should have been intercepted right over the outstretched hand. I can't see the linebacker coming in there, but it was close coverage, even though it looked like he had opportunity to catch the football.
3rd and 8. Saints are a little confused defensively. Here comes the blitz. Wilson drops back, lets it go as he's hit into the end zone. Caught, touchdown. Dokie Williams.
Just a great job that time. There's nothing that'll shut a crowd up and turn them around, keep them from booing and put them on your side. They want to have a young man that stays in there in the face of the blitz, lays it up in the corner. Dokie Williams beats his man. Touchdown. Now you're going to see what happens as number 99, Warren, comes inside. Now Elliott comes inside, and the quarterback, Wilson, showed a lot of poise, a lot of courage. He stood his ground, got the football off.
Chris Barr for the extra point.
And I got to add, Vern, that is not easy to do. He knew he was going to be hit that time, but yet he stayed in there, stood his ground, and got the 6.
After the fumble recovery by the Raiders results in a 15-yard touchdown toss and a 21-13 lead, LA has had to go 40, 26, and 43 yards for their 3 touchdowns today. Chris Barr will kick it off. Eric Martin bobbles it, picks it up. And as happens so many times, disrupts the flow and gets it out beyond the 20 to the 25-yard line. Jack Squirick made the tackle, number 58. Coming up next Saturday on college football, Western Carolina last night. That's next Saturday on CBS. First down 10, Saints from the 25. Wilson has to hurry, fumbles it again. And finally goes down and falls on the ball as Howie Long gets there.
Bum has to be concerned right now. The thing that's happened with the touchdown to Dokie Williams, that has forced the Saints out of the game plan that they had that was working so effectively, Vern. Now they're having to throw the football to get back in the football game, and when you do that, you take away the element of surprise, and now the Raiders are able to do what they do best, and that's put pressure on the quarterback.
Kenny Duckett comes wide to the left side. Wayne Wilson goes in the slot to the right. Dave Wilson facing a 4-man rush. Into the flat. Down low, the catch is made by Tyrone Anthony, and he is out of bounds. Up near the 23-yard line, Rod Martin.
Lester Hayes.
Told you something about his coverage technique.
And had I known this as a player, then I would have been able to burn this guy. But he told me, he said, Terry, I like the way he talked. He always said, Terry, Terry. He said, Terry, I know with the heat, he calls their defensive line the heat. That with the heat they're putting on the quarterback, when I'm running with a guy, I'm going 1001, 1002, 1003. Then I turn and look for the football because I know the quarterback has had to have thrown it by then.
Wilson back into the flat. Anthony drops it. It'll be 4th down.
Once again, they were trying to set up a screen, and not unlike the things that have happened earlier in the first and second quarter where they tried screens but had linebackers
On 4th down for the 7th time today, and Fulton Walker, who had a 26-yard return to set up a touchdown in the second quarter, waits for it. That's a great kick by Hansen, way up in the air. Walker at the 28. Walker darts out of a tackle. Is he something? Flag is down. So is Walker. A 49-yard kick. And Frank Watlet made the tackle. Now we'll check the infraction.
Illegal block in the back, number 83, first down.
Watch the darting style of Fulton Walker.
Tim Moffitt cost him all this yard. This is just great effort. Like so many things that are destined for Washington, this may be one of those archive moves, Vern, where we just sit and enjoy.
Nevertheless, the penalty cost him. 60 minutes will be on the air following football. First down 10, Raiders. 5:24 to go in the game. 21-13. Marcus Allen hit and dropped.
Wilkes. I'm sorry. That's Gathers, number 97. Outstanding penetration where he just blew up inside. Just knocked the tackle back right into the running back. Great job by Gathers, number 97.
Gathers in his second year out of Wichita State.
You know, we've talked about how huge the Raiders are, but you know, we've been around the Saints now for 2 years, and you know, they match up pretty well with these guys when it comes to yardsticks.
Second down and 12, 4:50 to go in the game. 21-13, Raiders lead it. Wilson with time into the flat, but this one won't go anywhere. Loses yardage back to the 31 as Frank Watlet came up on Marcus Allen and made the tackle.
You got to ask yourself, when the safeties are coming up making tackles on your running backs who just catch a wide flare, then what? Well, it tells you that they were blitzing and he had him man for man. There had to have been another route outlet, and there was. He just didn't find him. It's kind of interesting how easy it is to sit up here and talk about man routes, zone routes, why you do this and why you do that. But it really is a simple thing, Vern, where when you have man coverage, you can't throw screens because they have a man that's going to cover them. It's just simple as that. Throw it in the stands. You used to do that back when you played at Clinkscale High School.
Right.
Remember that?
Uh-huh. Sure. Third down, 15. They'll hand it off to Marcus Allen. And he'll be dropped to the 37, bringing up a 4th and 11. So the Saints will get it back with 3:45 to go in the game. Whitney Paul makes the tackle. And New Orleans uses one of its timeouts to stop the clock at the 3:45 mark. Wilson 19 of 31, but he hit the big touchdown pass a few moments ago to Dokie Williams. Defeated the 49ers. They remain, along with the Rams, one of 2 undefeated teams in the National Football League. Big win for the Bears, 26-10. Atlanta over Seattle. How about that? The Falcons in search of their first win.
Well, they've been close all year, Vern, and as good a football team as I think they are, that doesn't surprise me. San Diego over this one. Now, this is a surprise because Kansas City, I thought, early in the season was one of the better football teams.
4th down, 11. Ray Guy will kick it away to Eric Martin, who waits back at the 15-yard line. 3:45 to go in the game.
Whew, what a kick.
Martin with the fair catch. Grabs it at the 18. New Orleans gets it back, but they are some 82 yards away after that 45-yard kick. Coming up next week on the NFL on CBS, some of you will see the Saints at Atlanta, and others of you will be watching the Dallas-Philadelphia game. Cowboys won today over Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia defeated St. Louis, so that ought to be an interesting matchup, and Terry and I will be in Philly for that game. Right now, New Orleans has a first down and 10 at their own 18-yard line, trailing by 8 points. Reverse to Guido Merkins. Picks it up and looks deep, but he's in trouble and is going to be caught and dropped at the 6-yard line. Well, we said he could throw, and he was trying to. Caught a touchdown pass, but that one didn't work.
Hayes and Haynes were downfield slapping hands and clapping because they had anticipated something of that sort, and they're down there hooting and hollering and carrying on. Proud of themselves that they, number one, recognized it and were able to cover it. Number two, that the play was stopped for a loss.
Clock running with 3:06 to go. If you did join us late, it was 14-7 at the half, and twice in the third quarter, once in the third, once in the fourth. The Saints had a 4th and 1 inside the 30, both times elected to go for field goals instead of the first down. They got them both. Now they're going to get a safety. Lyle Alzado, in his 15th year in the National Football League, got his first touchdown since his days at Yankton College last week, and told Terry yesterday he might play another year, but he didn't know.
Well, he told us that they had asked him to come back and play another year. Now, he did an outstanding job with that swim technique of going inside, staying, pushing, and finally gets by LaFari, who's 64. And actually, you can say that's a safety, but you're going to have to blame the line on that. I mean, not the line, but Wilson. They gave him enough time to get the football downfield. 4 seconds is the most you can ask of your offensive line. He had 4 seconds. Throw it out of bounds.
23-13. It's back to a 10-point lead, and only 4 minutes ago it was a 1-point lead, and it seemed the Raiders were in trouble as New Orleans had a 3rd down and 5 at their own 45-yard line. But Dave Wilson fumbled the ball. The turnover led to a touchdown, made it 21-13. Now, what does this do to a Saint team, a young team that had won 3 in a row, looked like they might win their 4th? How much of a setback will this be? Can they learn something in this?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think this is going to be a setback at all. Unlike the first 2 football games where they were totally blown out of those games by big plays and touchdowns, and the margins were just tremendous. And this game, they have played tough. They have played well enough, and we still have 2:49 to go. They still could come back and win this football game, but they have played the Raiders head up and have played them well, and I think they've learned a great deal over the last 4 weeks. This will have no effect on the outcome of the rest of the year, I don't think, on their part, Vern.
Don't forget 60 Minutes coming up following football in its entirety. Right now we've got 2:49 remaining in the game, and it's a 23-13 ball game. Started to take the free kick. I'm not sure what happened.
He had everyone moving. What's Hanson saying? See that?
Looked like a drill.
Really?
Hey, we didn't do this at Sioux Falls.
They couldn't. It was too cold up there.
Okay, Bryant says, are you ready now? He's laughing about it. Oh, that's not a great kick. On the run, Bolton Walker. That wasn't a great run back either.
A while ago, we were talking about putting him in the archives in Washington, and then he wanted that there and just sits down. That's all right. One good run a day is enough. Even he's laughing about that.
2:41 remaining in the ball game. Looks like the Raiders will go 4-2, and the Saints will fall to 3-3.
The Raiders know one thing. They have played a football team today that they had to play it with the best they had. They had to give it everything they had, Vern. They couldn't just walk out there like the Raiders of the 70s, which would probably have beaten this team. They knew they had to play with everything they had, and they've done that so far.
Looks like they'll have to start on a new streak next week if they're going to win 4 in a row. Marcus Allen inside the 50-yard line to the 46. And the clock still winding down, now showing 2:28 and counting.
You know, it's funny. I look over here and I see that Allen has 27 rushes for 103 yards. And on the field before the game and talking to Al Davis, he said, you know, Marcus Allen has told us, you know, he's a young kid that wants to run. He's complaining, but he said, I don't believe he's effective over 15, 18 times a game. He said, you know, he really thinks that Allen's best rushing output would be 15, 18 times a game. Now he's rushed for 27, so I believe I've been kind of, you know, the wool
New Orleans has used another timeout to stop the clock with 2:26 remaining in the game. They have one left, and they will get another stoppage of the clock at the 2-minute warning. As Bum Phillips looks on, that is the 9th 100-yard rushing game of Marcus Allen's relatively short career. I wonder if they're 7-2 every time Marcus Allen has run for more than 100 yards.
Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I look forward to the Dallas-Philadelphia game where we'll probably hear the 40-3 when Dorsett rushes for 100 yards.
Marcus Allen with 103 so far today and 2 touchdowns. His 3rd and 4th of the year. Oh, the joys of living in Southern California.
Well, yes. What do you think?
I'd move here. I don't think Nancy, my wife, would go for it. But high score is 23-13 with 2:26 to go. Elsewhere today, the Bears knock off the 49ers in Candlestick 26-10. San Francisco is 3-3, the defending Super Bowl champions. The Rams had a battle on their hands and had to come from behind to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by 4. So Los Angeles is also 6-0 for the season. Denver hung on to defeat the tenacious Indianapolis team 15-10, so they will go to 4-2. New England defeats Buffalo 14-3. And Washington, no problems with Detroit, 24-3 the final there. Marcus Allen with the carry again. 2:18 to go. See if the Saints use their final timeout here. Green Bay over Minnesota 20-17. Cleveland knocks off Houston 21-6. And there's one of the shockers of the day. Philadelphia over St. Louis 30-7. Eagles win their 2nd in a row. Dallas over Pittsburgh as the Cowboys go 5-1 and defeat Pittsburgh for the first time in 13 years. And Cincinnati defeated the Giants today. Bum Phillips' team fought back to within 1, but then a fumble cost them a touchdown drive of the Raiders. And now with 2 minutes to go, Derek Jensen comes into the game, 7-year man out of the University of Texas at Arlington, and gets his first carry of the encounter. Now Wilson looks over. See if he looks at his wrist for the play. And he's smiling now.
He's smiling.
Forget the booze.
Well, one of the real tests of a quarterback is how well can he handle adversity, and I think he's handled it very well. Both he and Wilson have experienced the difficulty in their hometowns, Wilson in New Orleans, and both have overcome those and played very well.
Clock still running with 1:24. San Diego defeats Kansas City 31-20. 2nd down. And Terry Hogue stands up Steve Strahan from Boston College, the rookie. Number 39, who had just come in the lineup. And now we've got 1:04 remaining in the game. Saints do have one timeout if they choose to use it, but looks like they might not. Don't forget 60 minutes following football, and will be seen in its entirety. Saints, excuse me, on the road again next week at Atlanta. We'll see them again in a couple of weeks when they come back out to the West Coast to face the Los Angeles Rams. Here's Strahan. And the Raiders fight off. Now they use the timeout. So that is the final New Orleans timeout. We've got 30 seconds to go in the game. Here in the Coliseum in Los Angeles, the executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Terry O'Neill. Today's game produced by Charles H. Milton III and directed by Andy Kindle. Associate producer here in Los Angeles was Daniel Mann. Our broadcast associate, Stephen H. Shear. And our field technical manager, Phil Wilson. On 4th down, Ray Guy back on to punt. And Eric Martin waits for it at the 10-yard line. That's a great kick. Just a matter of where they spot it, but it should be somewhere inside the 10. Technical director Irv Hurd here in L.A. and the rest of our crew as you see the names roll by. Ray Guy with a fine kick, and the Saints get it back to their own 4-yard line with 23 seconds to go. Raiders keep pace with Denver in the AFC West. They go to 4-2. That whole division race just might come down to the final 2 weeks of the season.
Well, if Al Davis said that this is not a very good football team, yet they're 4-2. Seattle, supposedly an excellent football team, struggling. Denver, 4-2. San Diego coming on, so it boils down again to, you know, all these teams are pretty well evenly matched.
Final 23 seconds of the game, and Wilson will throw from his end zone. Lobs it out in the right flat. Caught by John Tice, and that stops the clock with 15 seconds to go. Harold Richardson, the special teams coach, talking with Bum Phillips on the sidelines, and John Lavra, the offensive backfield coach, just behind him.
One thing I think is apparent, I don't doubt, there's no doubt in my mind that the Saints are a football team that you will have to reckon with as the season goes along, as with the Raiders, because I believe both teams are still improving, even though one of these teams is losing.
Dave Wilson, right side, man is open. That's Eric Martin, who stops the clock with 10 seconds to go. Saw the update on that Atlanta-Seattle thing. The game up in Seattle, 26-21. And if we have time, we will go up for the final few moments of that game. What a shocking upset that would be, with the Falcons defeating Seattle currently in the Kingdome in Seattle, and 60 minutes following football on CBS. Kenny Duckett will come to the near side. Eric Martin breaks out wide right. And we are down to the final 10 seconds of the ball game. Intercepted by Rod Martin at the 30. He's got a convoy, but he can't get by. Now the lateral. Bolton Walker. This looks like the Stanford-Cal game. There's a flag down as well. All we were missing was a band in the end zone. Let's see what the infraction is. Illegal forward pass. I thought it might be.
No play. Game is over.
And Fred Wyant says no penalty. The game is over. The Los Angeles Raiders hold off the challenge of the New Orleans Saints. They were ahead by only a 14-13 count when the Saints fumbled at their own 40-yard line. L.A. went in, got a touchdown toss to Williams, and then went on to get the safety and win at 23-13. Tom Flores and Bum Phillips wave at each other. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw here in the Coliseum. Our game is over. Let's go up to Seattle to Dan Deerdorf and Gene Fugit for the concluding moments of that game.